I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 193, Paper Mario. Released in 2000, this game was developed by both Nintendo and Intelligent Systems and published by Nintendo. Now, this is a game that needs no introduction, but I guess there has to be one, huh? Well, I played this game a lot growing up, and it was sick. There's a big debate over whether this game was a mistake after Mario RPG, but you know, I love both games. Look, I'm gonna be a bit biased here. I like this game a lot, and I just like RPGs in general. It's not TTYD, but I think many people agree this is one of the better N64 games out there. Plus, it aged really well with the art direction they took. I don't know, man. I'm just excited to talk about this one. Let's get into it. The game has a single player story mode, so that's what we'll be doing to beat this game. There's some opening story when you first turn the game on. We are learning the story of the Star Spirits. They live in Star Haven, where they have a treasure called the Star Rod. This has the power to grant all wishes. The 7 Star Spirits watched over the peaceful land using the power of the Star Rod. But then, some weird thing gets taped into the story. Aw no, it's Bowser. He's ruining the story. He wants to steal the Star Rod to defeat Mario. Using magic, Kammy Koopa seals the Star Spirits within 7 cards. From now on, Star Kids will go to Star Haven to deliver people's wishes, but they'll never come true. This is not good. Getting into the actual game now, it opens with a cutscene of Mario having a letter delivered. Apparently, Princess Peach is throwing a party at her castle, and she wants both Mario and Luigi to attend. There will be many guests from all over the world attending, and lots of tasty treats. So they head to the castle, and now I'm in control. You just move around like normal, you can jump, and there's a spin move to get around a bit faster. I really appreciate how the castle is modeled the same as it is in Mario 64. It's a nice touch. So this is going to be a very comprehensive playthrough. I've beaten this game a few times, and I wanted to really experience all there was this time around. I had no idea you could enter the kitchen during this intro, and Thabeast in there. She says she cooked all the food for the party, but she got so into it that she didn't realize she ran out of ingredients. She needs to go shopping to finish. Interesting. There are just all kinds of NPCs from around various areas of the game. Like the mayor of Shiver City is here, and if you talk to him, he says he lost track of time and has to go shopping for souvenirs. Convenient. Eventually, I made it to the private chambers where Peach was waiting. She's so happy Mario came to see her. They want to go chill on the balcony, but then the entire place starts shaking. We see that the ground has begun to open up, and Bowser's castle is rising into the sky, taking Peach's castle with it. They actually never explain how the castle got there. Like, was it always there or what? I guess the power of the Star Rod. Next thing we know, Bowser's busting through the window alongside Kammy Koopa. Bowser reveals he lifted the castle up into the sky, sitting on top of his castle. He commands the place now and everyone will obey him. He acts shocked Mario's here, but then he says nah, he expected him. Peach says Bowser can never defeat Mario, just like always. Bowser says this time is different. This time, we will finally win. Now it's the first battle of the game. The battles are completely turn-based. This one's more of a story-based battle than a real one. For now, all Mario can do is jump to deal 1 damage. It goes back and forth a few turns, then Bowser says how annoying we are. He pulls out the Star Rod, saying he stole it from Star Haven. He uses its power to make himself invincible and raise his strength. Now my jump attack does nothing, and Bowser's also dealing 3 damage. Bowser ends it by blowing fire, dealing 10. That's my whole health bar, so he could have just done that from the start. Bowser's absolutely popping off that he finally won against Mario. As long as he has that Star Rod, no one can stop him. Bowser zaps Mario out of the window to fall to his doom. Dang, guess the game ends here. We cut to Mario knocked out cold in the forest. I think the fact that he's made of paper helped slow his fall. The Star Spirits are using what's left of their energy to revive him. A Goomba wanders up and realizes this is the one and only Mario lying here. She tries to wake him up, but to no avail. She then yells for her family to help. Mario is passed out in bed and he gets a vision from Eldstar, one of the Star Spirits. He says he has something important to tell us, but he will only have the strength to tell us if we come to Shooting Star Summit. A toad walks in and says we've been asleep for days. We're currently in Goomba Village. The only inhabitants are a single family of Goombas and this toad. Apparently that family carried us to this house. I went outside and spoke with Goompapa. He said we could rest in their house if we wanted. Apparently Shooting Star Summit is located near Toad Town. We can't leave now though because the previous earthquake broke the gate. Also, when I was a kid, I remember thinking that this guy had a huge open mouth all the time. Now I realize that's just a mustache. Maybe it looked different on my tiny Daewoo CRT. So I went into their house to look around. Goompa was out on the balcony fixing it up. Okay, maybe I'll look around some more. Well, apparently Goompapa already fixed the gate. Before I could do anything though, Cammy Koopa of all people showed up. She was shocked I was still alive after the fight with Bowser. She tells us there's no point in trying to save the princess this time around, then summons a large block to destroy the gate. Goompapa is not happy. Also, what in the world is this laugh text supposed to be? Blehehohyakheha. This game needs voice acting, because I want to hear that. So we're stuck, and Goompapa suggests asking to borrow Goompa's hammer. Oh yeah, he was using that to fix the balcony. Going to find him, and something's off. Wasn't there a balcony here before? Goompa was down at the crash site, and there was a block here as well. We go off to look for his hammer. It's found in one of the nearby bushes, and this is an invaluable tool for the game. Not only is it obviously useful for combat, but it's good in the overworld too. There's all kinds of things you can whack to achieve certain things, like finding Goombaria's peach doll. Just when we were about to leave, Goompa gets blasted by something. A little thing, and an egg shows up. He says his name is Junior Troopa, and this is his playground. No one's allowed here, so he's gonna beat us up. These are still basically story-based fights, so you can't really lose. I just blasted him over the head with the hammer, and he was out cold. I got 20 star points for winning. Basically the experience points for the game. Get 100 and you level up. So now I'm walking back toward Goomba Village and there's some enemy Goombas along the way. It seems weird to me, but I guess Goompa says they're bad and loyal to Bowser, so he's chill with it. For getting into battle, you see the enemies moving in the overworld. You can just avoid them and not fight most of the time if you want, but if you attack them with jumping or the hammer to initiate the battle, you get a first strike bonus. It's one of the really cool things I remember from this game, and there's some unique ways to do it throughout. The enemies can do the same to you though. I found a star piece along the upper cliffs in this path. It's kinda like a collectible thing to obtain throughout the game. In this playthrough, I wound up getting all of them. One thing I love about the Paper Mario games is how goofy you can be, or really any RPG when they let you do things like this. Goombario wants us to give Goombaria her doll back, and I can just say no. He's like, that's really mean, but I guess you can give it back when you're done playing with it. Nah, if you give it back, you just get a star piece. Goompa gives us a power jump badge as a reward for helping them. Badges are this game's way to give yourself special attacks or passive abilities. And finally, for the last of our Goomba Village adventures, Goombario joins our party as our first companion. He has an ability outside of battle to have him give more information about certain places or people. I admittedly didn't use this that much. There's probably some interesting dialogue in there at some point. With the hammer, I can break the block Cammy summoned and finally leave this boring place. I mean, they're nice people, but come on, only a single family lives here? There's nothing to do. Love this sign directly outside of Goomba Village saying beware of Goombas. Then it just jumps off the sign. So the main thing I like Goombario for is his tattle ability. In battle, he tells you the strength and HP of enemies, as well as a bit of info about them. The most important thing, though, is it permanently shows a visible health bar every time you run into a regular Goomba. I made sure to tattle every single enemy in the game because seeing the health bar makes me feel nice, you know? Variants like the Spiked Goomba or Paragoomba won't have theirs visible, though. You have to tattle each one individually at least once. Someone blocked my path at the end of this trail. Who was it but none other than the Goomba Bros. They say they've got direct orders from the Goomba King to not let Mario pass. It's basically still a story-based fight, although it would be possible to lose here if you took damage from the previous enemies and didn't heal. Power Jump lets me deal 3 damage with a single attack, pretty sick. It takes 2 FP to use though, kind of like this game's form of mana. I beat them up and they ran away crying. Every so often while walking around, there are these heart blocks that restore both your health and FP for free if you hit them. Pretty awesome. Also, saving is done with the save blocks with the big S on it. Well, now I'd made it to the Goomba King's castle. Not as impressive as Bowser's, but it's decent. Then he rose, the Goomba King himself. His eyes are all moving and weird, and his crown bounces. It's kind of obvious, but you can smash the clearly marked part of the tree to whack these guys over the head with a Goom Nut. If you didn't know about that, there's a decent chance at losing here, although it's still pretty free. In fact, by the time I had finished typing that previous sentence into the script that I'm reading right now, the fight had already ended. I got 30 star points and got my first level up of the game. Here you can either increase health or FP by 5 or increase BP by 3. BP is badge points and lets you equip more badges, incredibly useful. They ran and hid within the castle, and I could overhear them talking about some switch. The red Goomba hit it directly outside rather than inside. How convenient. I pressed the switch and the Goomba King was absolutely freaking out. The ground started shaking aggressively, then the top of the castle fell off. Okay, I have no idea why the king goes to stand in that exact spot. Like, he knows what the switch does, right? So why? Maybe he's stupid. We then get an update on Kammy Koopa and Bowser. Kammy saw us defeat the Goomba King and Bowser is upset. He used the Star Rod to turn him into a king after he begged. He briefly gets nervous, but then is reminded while he has the Star Rod, it's impossible to lose. All the Star Spirits are being guarded in separate locations by his trusted subjects. Just then, the Koopa Bros jump in. Dang, those guys are cool. They say they're way better than the Goomba King because of their teamwork. Then they show off their special attack off screen and Bowser is super impressed. Then they run back off to their fortress. So now we're in Toad Town, the main hub area for the game. The first thing I did was go down the pipe to visit my house. Luigi was there whistling. Apparently he managed to escape the castle just as the earthquake was happening, so he's okay. He then wonders why there's a Goomba following us and realizes we're going on a cool adventure and how unfair it is to him. He's got to look after the house, so there's no way he can leave. What about all the adventures they went on together prior to this game? Guess they hired a house sitter for those? There's all kinds of neat stuff here, like Russ T, who is the most knowledgeable person in the world. He gives all kinds of facts about the game's world if you come speak to him. Or these two toads who are madly in love. They understand the princess is kidnapped and the world is in turmoil, but all they care about is each other. They couldn't care less about anyone else. Guess that makes them wicked toads. The center of town has a news board. Basically gives some sensationalist reporting on the current thing happening in the game. What some of you may not have known about is there's a secret underground news board if you read the back of it. This is just some random toad vandalizing the back of the board, giving a different, more chaotic perspective on the current events. The southern path is blocked off for now. There's a bunch of construction materials that crashed due to the earthquake. There's also the post office in the center of town. There are letters to Mario and the party members here. In fact, Goombario already has one from the red and blue Goombas from earlier. They say he's a lot stronger than he looked, and they thought he was just a random Goomba, but he proved his strength. They hope when he returns to the fortress that they can become friends. How wholesome. Pretty much every town will have a toad house where you can rest to refill your stats. I love how Mario just kind of slides directly under the covers like that. Something sure is off about these toads blocking the east path. I presume they must know what they're talking about if it's too dangerous to go that way. To the north, the ruins of Peach's castle. There's a toad there who says nearly everyone who was inside is just stuck up there now. Just like those Boeing astronauts. On the way to Shooting Star Summit now, there's a house along the way where Merlot lives. This is where you go to trade in the star pieces. Most of these badges aren't great, but there's a few amazing ones in there that are worth going for. Merlove Lee is also downstairs, and she gives hints to locations of star pieces or badges you haven't found. I made my way up to the summit, and the star spirits were there waiting for me. Well, they were kind of using energy to speak with me here. They give the whole spiel about how the Star Rod grants anyone's wish and the Star Spirits guarded it. Now that Bowser has it, he can grant himself any evil wish like defeating Mario or making Peach like him. They barely even have the energy to speak to me like this, and it's draining more and more every day. Mostly stuff we already know. Between each chapter, the game cuts to Princess Peach to give an update on how she's doing and the things in the castle. She's obviously sad about Mario being hurt and the castle being taken away. Bowser and Kammy Koopa walk in to gloat about how they're in control, and all her subjects down below are sad because their wishes are no longer being granted. After they leave, there's a knock at the window and there's a tiny star. He says his name is Twink and he came because Peach wished for someone to help. She tries asking, hey, can you get the Star Rod back? But he can't do that. So she's like, oh, how about you save everyone in the castle? But nope, he can't do that either. Man, this kid is useless. Well, here's a more reasonable wish. Find Mario and give him this lucky star. Also, tell him Peach is fine and he shouldn't worry. Controlling Mario now, and on the way back to Toad Town, Twink flew out of the sky and blasted me in the head. He delivers the lucky star as promised. Turns out some Magikoopa followed Twink all the way here. He says he's going to defeat Mario right now to earn Cammy's praise. So what did that lucky star do? It gave the ability to use action commands, one of the coolest parts of the game. Pressing A just before landing on my jump attack makes me do a second jump to deal double damage. Yeah, I know Mario RPG did something like this, and other games have similar mechanics, but come on, it's so cool. Like, Power Bounce activates in the same way, but it makes it do 4 damage instead of 3. And Goombario's head bonk does a second bonk, just like Mario's jump does. Upon returning to Toad Town, I was told I needed to speak with a guy named Merlin right away. He sure likes to talk. He said he had a very important story to tell me, and it was a bit long. Mario got completely bored and fell asleep. Apparently that was all to say he can predict the path I need to go. My next destination is Koopa Bros Fortress to the east. Those sketchy toads were still blocking the path, so Merlin came to help. They say they're just cute ordinary toads hanging out, you know, but he wasn't buying it. They were the Koopa Bros in disguise, oh my god. They took off running, that was crazy. Okay, we've got some new enemies now, the Koopas. They're wearing sunglasses because they're just that cool. Well, until you flip them over, that is. How embarrassing. Oh yeah, the action commands can also be activated for defense against attacks as well as to lower damage received by 1. I'm not sure the exact frame window on these, but it's lenient if you're decent at video games. Oh, did you know you can run around this pole thing here? I don't know what it's called, but anyway, it spawns hearts and plays a little jingle while you do it. I always thought this was a weird thing. The hammer's attack is quite different from the jumping ones. You hold the joystick left to charge the meter until it's full, then let go. Some of the late game attacks actually get pretty challenging to execute properly. So I fought a bunch of dudes and made it to Koopa Village. It's a time of turmoil there though, rather than tranquility. The fuzzies are causing absolute havoc all over the place. Like even this guy gets his shell stolen. At least he's got a shirt on. This Koopa won't quit whining his shell is too high for him to reach. You know what you need, buddy? Some hammer to the face. Oh my god, I'm really sorry, y'all. I don't know where that came from. That was really evil. Basically though, you go around the village helping all the Koopas with missing shells retrieve them. Oh shoot, forget these guys. Chuck Quizmo was here. This guy randomly appears in towns and gives you the chance to enter a quiz show to earn a star piece. This guy's probably the most annoying part of obtaining all the star pieces because you have to find him to even get an attempt at the prize. Most of the questions are easy, but a few of them trip you up. Upon picking up this Koopa leaf, it told me my inventory was full. That's right, you can only hold a measly 10 items at once in this game. I guess it's enough, but I feel like my pack is always at capacity. You can also take out the random fuzzies that haven't stolen any shells. You know, if you're into that. Well, the entire village is in chaos except for this guy. He's just vibing in a lounge chair with some bob-ombs that ran away from Koopa Bros Fortress. He says he knows how uncool he looks without his shell, so there's no way he's going to leave the house. This woman says her husband is never around when there's trouble. Apparently his name is Colorado and he's a world-famous explorer. Although it may not be true because he runs his mouth a lot. You can even go in the back room of the house here and it's an even bigger mess than what the fuzzies caused. This fuzzy is definitely the most annoying one. Feels like it's impossible to catch up to it. Oh wait, you're intended to slowly walk up to it. Probably don't remember that, cause the last time I played this it was on an emulator in college with keyboard controls. Only digital joystick movement there. This guy's fine though because he put a special lock on his shell, although he doesn't even think he knows how to remove it either. And finally I went to the house with the green roof. A Koopa walks out saying he can't believe it's really Mario. He says his name is Cooper and he wants us to help him get his shell back because it's his most important possession. It's way too embarrassing to go out without it. This is the only house with a back door in the entire village apparently. I chased the fuzzy all through the back of the forest. For whatever reason, the fuzzy jumps into a tree and wants to play a memory test with us. It's like that old carnival scam with the ball under the cups. The last round's actually really fast. I've definitely never missed it though. The fuzzy gives back the shell and all was good. Cooper thanks us, then brings up how he lives next door to Professor Colorado and he wants to travel the world just like him. He wants us to bring him along as a companion. I mean, we literally just met the guy 5 minutes ago, but sure, why not? Now we've got our second party member. In this game, you only have one out at a time. Guess the fuzzies weren't happy with our deal, so they attacked instead. So yeah, only one party member at a time. You can switch members in battle, but it uses up a turn. Had to get Goombario to get that elusive fuzzy tattle registered, you know? Getting the action command timing for a fuzzy attack is genuinely TAS only. No one can time that, I swear. Cooper's attack is just him launching his shell at an enemy. It uses the same action command as Mario's hammer. Cooper's ability in the overworld is to launch himself out to grab items or activate things. Now I can reach this inaccessible badge. So here's an old man you've probably seen before if you've done the additional content in this game. Koopa Coot, one of the most annoying people there is. He asks us to do him a favor. He wants to borrow the book Koopa Legends from Colorado. I went to get the book from Colorado's wife and she said it was apparently an exercise book. Also, this guy's known to ask for way too many favors for nothing good, so just watch out for him. I brought him the book and he was ecstatic. It was such a great help to him, in fact, that he gave me the great reward of 1 coin in return. Gee, thanks. Of course, he didn't hesitate to ask for another favor. Now he wants a sleepy sheep. I had to run all the way back to Toad Town and buy one from the shop. This time I actually got a decent reward, a silver credit for the playroom in Toad Town. I screwed up tattling these paratroopers because I knocked both down, turning them into regular Koopas first. So I had to run away. You can run from regular battles and you just mash the A button to fill up a bar. There's an element of RNG depending on where the OK arrow lines up, but the easier the fight, the higher the meter starts. I leveled up once again on the road and of course, I put it in badge points. Always level BP, folks. The enemies can get the first strike on you too if you're not careful. Paratroopers are a bit notorious for that. So here we are, Koopa Bros Fortress. I must say, it's way more impressive than that lousy Goomba castle. Now we've got Bob-ombs as enemies. These things get their fuse lit when you've attacked them, and next turn they explode, dealing big damage. But even if you kill them, you've got to be careful. It needs to be a ranged attack like Cooper's shell. And here it is. Sneaking past this back wall gives the best badge in the entire game, Power Bounce. If you know, you know. This place is quite huge though. I hit a switch that appeared after winning a battle and this massive staircase lowered. You may remember this hallway with fire bars. Did you know if you keep jumping over them, they eventually turn into coins? This one isn't that obscure, so you probably did know that. Man, if the Koopa Bros don't work out as being evil villains, the Yellow Bro could easily get a job as a carpenter. Look how fast he works. Yeah, I think we all saw this one coming. At least there's no fall damage in this game. How could Mario have been so careless? It made me fall into a prison cell where a bunch of Bob-ombs were being held. These Koopa Bros seem truly awful though. Apparently they were making these guys work 25 hours a day. We're interested in one specific Bob-omb though. This is Bombette. She got thrown in jail for getting mad and exploding right next to the Koopa Bros. Her overworld ability is to break the walls with visible cracks in them. We're opening up more of the game. It's almost like a Metroidvania. These Koopas are just vibing inside their shells, you know, floating in the water, and now this disgusting mossy staircase is ruining their day. Bombette's attack is a headbutt. You just hold A until the star lights up. Easy stuff. Now this is an iconic segment. The bullet bills getting launched down this really long walkway. Of course, gotta take out the bullet bill launchers themselves. Haven't mentioned it yet, but many enemies also have defense stats. The charged hammer only does 1 here, and if I were to do a regular jump, it'd do no damage. Always BP, by the way. Well, here we are. Instead of fighting the Koopa Bros, apparently we're fighting Bowser. Yep, that's definitely him. His only attack is to whack Mario over the head for 1 damage. I love this line about how the sequel to this should be called Paper Bowser. Like, that'd be a fun game. They did a bit of that in TTYD, honestly. Yeah, this fight's super easy. In a stunning twist that literally no one could have seen coming, it was the Koopa Bros in a costume the entire time. I guess you could say this is the first true boss fight of the game. The prologue stuff was kinda free. These guys stack on top of each other and spin all at once, dealing 4 damage. Must be the move they showed Bowser, or maybe they showed him the costume. The strat here is to use a hammer to knock them off balance, then hit them again to knock them over. Now, this fight isn't super hard, but I made it slightly harder on myself due to my tattle obsession. I really wanted to tattle all 4 of them individually, making the fight last a bit longer. Here's why Power Bounce is so strong. As long as you can nail the action command timing, you can bounce again and again. It's not like Mario RPG where you can literally go forever though. This game shrinks the hit window as you go until it becomes impossible. I believe it's random how many bounces you get if you're playing perfectly. See, this is why you want to tattle everyone. You get this weird dialogue about Goombario thinking about curry because this Koopa's yellow. Someone working on the game back in the day had to think of that and write it in there. I don't know, it's funny to think about. If any of the Koopa Bros are dead or knocked over, they won't be a part of the stack, so the damage gets cut drastically if you just kill one of them quickly. Overall, the fight's not too bad. Goombario kinda spoils the solution to the fight if you tattle anyway. The Koopa Bros get launched off the bridge and land down in the prison with the wreckage of their Bowser machine. And finally, the Star Spirit Eldstar appears, waiting to be rescued from the card. Well, that's what you could do. I've got better things, so I'm out of here. I just love that you can leave and ignore the star. I wonder what's on his mind, like, hey, what the heck, buddy, where you going? Nah, but really, rescuing Eldstar marks the end of Chapter 1. Based on how much I've written, I'd say we're about a half hour into this video. Oh god, it's gonna be so long. Like clockwork, we get an update on what's going on with Peach in the castle. Twink is hanging out there with her now too. She's still worried and all that jazz. She really wants to get out of the room, but the door is guarded. Apparently the minister told her there's a secret passage out of the room. Why? Well, I don't know. Ask the castle planner. There's a photo of Mario on a table that Twink comments on. Peach gets mad at him for looking. So like, what kind of picture is it? You can go out on the balcony in this room too, but there's not really a point. I guess it looks nice. If you examine the fireplace, Twink remarks, "Isn't it suspicious this fireplace is warm?" Like, no? Is that a mistranslation or what? It makes no sense. If you try leaving through the door, it doesn't go so hot. I love how the Koopas just carry her like she's crowd surfing, then launch her onto the floor. Anyway, as we all know, there's a button to open the fireplace. Guess Twink was right, even though his reasoning was dumb. This other switch loudly turns this large platform. It goes straight to that room Bowser was in earlier. Bowser's diary is here, and we snoop on what's inside. He talks about how cool it is that he stole the Star Rod and now he's unbeatable. The main point here is the next Star Spirit is being held in Dry Ruins located in the Dry Desert. Twink agrees he needs to find Mario and tell him right away. And then Bowser barges in, realizing he left his diary out. He really hopes no one read it, and Peach gets discovered and dragged back to her room. Eldstar's outside the fortress with us, and he's like, "Thank you for saving me, blah blah blah." More importantly, he gives us the ability to use his power in battle. I love how he offers a tutorial on how to use it, and if you say no, he's like, dude, this is really important. Like, we're trying to save the world here. Can you stop being so pretentious? He tells us if I rescue all 7 Star Spirits, then I can use a power called the Star Beam. It's the only thing that can counter the Star Rod's power. See, this is why you should always level BP. You can get badges that give you the same amount of HP or FP you would have gained by leveling it up. Really, I think this is kind of silly, but it's just funny that I could have gotten 5 FP with BP or FP level up. I was just calmly making my way back to Toad Town when none other than that moron Junior Troopa showed up. He said he told us he'd be back and it's time to get his revenge. And then he dives into the water. We go into battle and he's got a new ability. He can hide in his shell now, giving him +1 armor. Well, buddy, I've got a bit more than normal jumping these days. Bombette is so good against armored enemies. Her special attack is Bomb, where you just mash A as fast as possible. It deals 5 damage maxed out, which, yeah, that's really good. Oh shoot, I almost forgot to tattle this guy. That would have been an absolute disaster. So yeah, now with Eldstar's power, I've got a star meter under my health. Right now it only has 1 notch, and I can only use refresh. It just heals my HP and FP by 5, but don't count it out. It's super underrated. The star meter passively recharges a bit during battle, and you can use focus to charge it a lot. Anyway, that fight was easy. You can blast him with the hammer after the battle to just make him scream. What the heck, Nintendo? Back in Toad Town, and Twink arrives to tell us the news about Dry Ruins. Also, Peach is safe and sound. After beating Chapter 1, one of the most important places opens up, the Bad Shop. And oh my goodness, the ultimate quality of life is here, Speedy Spin. Like, look how far this goes. It's nuts how fast you can move in this game. You may be wondering, hey, with all those enemies on the road, can't you just farm levels infinitely? Well, they thought of that. As you level up, weaker enemies give you less and less star points, then eventually they just give you none. So now the guys on the road to Koopa Village only give 1 each. As you progress the game more, that annoying Koopa Coot unlocks more favors to do. This time he wants to get what he called the tape from Goomba. I asked Goomba what was on that tape, but he said there's no way he can tell me, but oh boy, he really enjoyed it. Of course, he gave me the lovely reward of 1 single coin. At least I can move faster to make these a bit quicker. Next, he wants me to get some Koopa Tea. That's not an item you can find in game, so the only way to get it is via some side content, Taste Tea. Remember her from the castle? She's lucky she ran out of ingredients. If I bring her an item, she can potentially cook it up into something else. Or a mistake if it isn't supposed to be cooked. So this time he gives something nice, 3 star pieces. This is the whole reason to do this guy's whole side quest. I don't know what the heck Luigi thinks he's doing while I'm out. He said he's taking care of the house, but now there's this giant boulder here. He's worthless. Really, the main reason I was here is to get Luigi's autograph. For some reason, old Koopa Coot really wanted it. Yeah, he gave me 1 coin. That's what that one is worth though, to be fair. We're still not ready to start the next chapter. We've got yet another huge piece of side content in this game, the sewer. This place is actually super useful and ends up being required later anyway. For now, I can't access much of it, but I can get to this room where I found Gloombas. They have 7 health and deal 2 damage per hit. The spiked variant does 3 damage, so still 2 even if you block it. It can get dangerous quick in this game. Always BP, by the way. The big thing down here is a recurring blooper boss. He just screams at you every time you run into him. I was a bit nervous because I tattled, showing it had 30 HP and 3 power, but thankfully power bounce is actually so busted. How the heck did I get 12 bounces? I only ever remember it going up to like 6 or 7 max. With that kind of power, I had nothing to worry about. Seriously, how did it go on for that long? Maybe they were all frame perfect presses. And had to make a pit stop to buy one of the better badges in this game, pretty lucky. Every so often, you just take no damage. Sick. We get some insider info reading the back of the signpost that the train in town is named the K64. I don't think that's mentioned anywhere else. Now that construction mess is cleared up to the south, so we can go to the rest of the city. There's this yellow house here that most people probably never pay attention to when playing this. These 2 toads are so excited about just now moving into town, even though they had to pay a small fortune to buy this place. We'll come back here. There was this flower in the ground and Mario made it come out for some reason. It said it's a bulb and wants to spread the joy of flowers all over the world. It then gave me a seed and was like, "You like flowers, don't you?" That kind of phrasing will forever remind me of that guy at Blizzard being like, "Y'all have phones, don't you?" Further south, hitting this tree spawns the pipe to the playroom. Lucky for us, we've got the silver credit to be allowed in. One of the NPCs in there talks about how he's glad the old Koopa never comes here anymore since he was such a sore loser. For now, the only thing I can do is jump attack. Just hit 9 blocks and hope it's not Bowser. If it is, well, too bad, you lose. Anyway, let's actually progress the story now. The train to Dry Desert is blocked by a boulder. Luckily, I've got a bomb with me now. This train cutscene is so nostalgic. Before making it to Dry Desert, I first have to traverse Mount Rugged. The local postman Parakarry bumped into me. He says he dropped a letter on the mountain and he really hopes we can help him find it. He's gonna look too. Although all he does is literally move back and forth in that exact same spot. Oh look, it's everyone's favorite wholesome NPC, Wacka. He's just out enjoying the sunshine, loving life, talking about what a nice day it is. It'd be a real shame if, you know, someone bopped him over the head. Look, it's not my fault he drops one of the best items in the entire game. Blame the devs. There's these rather annoying enemies here called Clefts. They have 2 defense, so not even the hammer can damage them. At this point in the game, you either need to use an item or a special ability. Combat does the job perfectly, although there's a few options to take them out. If you're real good at timing, you can hit them with her bomb for a first strike. One of the best ways to start a fight in the game. Remember these slides here? They were always so fun as a kid. Seems like a dangerous thing to just have around though. Anyway, the letter was located on a ledge here. I brought it back and he says there's 2 more that he lost. Could've mentioned that earlier, buddy. You already know. BP every single time. Actually, now I can equip this amazing badge I got, Damage Dodge. This makes the defensive action command reduce damage by 2. Huge for survivability. Oh look, Whack is back. I think you can hit this guy 10 times, then he just goes away forever. I found the other 2 letters, returned them, and Parakarry mentions he's lost letters all over the world. Wow, this guy's kinda bad at his job. He wants to travel around with us since we're so good at finding them. Yeah, sure, the more the merrier. With Parakarry, I can fly over large gaps that I couldn't before. Just even more useful in opening up more of the map. Oh look, it's another one of those Bubulbs who gave me a seed. I wonder what they could be for. Now with him, I can finish the mountain. Before leaving though, a vulture named Buzzard stopped me. He pulls out a sheet of paper and says I look a lot like this guy Mario from Bowser's Wanted poster. You can either say you're Mario, Luigi, or Peach. If you say Luigi, he's like, well, I guess you do look a lot like him, huh? Sorry about that. And then he just lets you through. It's so good. But I wanted to fight, so I reset the encounter. He's got this attack that blows wind and you have to mash A as fast as possible. It also stuns your teammate for as many turns as it damages. That's a mechanic I haven't mentioned. If your partner takes damage, they don't actually have any health. They just lose out on that many turns of combat. The other main attack is where he grabs you with his claws, and it's the same mechanic as running away, but where you button mash. Kinda sucks that it's a lot of RNG, but whatever. Even with the bad RNG, I still won. Power bounce is just too good. Now I'd made it to Dry Desert, and look, there's Professor Colorado with a camp set up. He says he's been digging the desert up in an attempt to find Dry ruins. His assistants have tried to get help at the nearby Dry outpost, but no luck so far. So you can either walk straight right along the road to get to the outpost or explore the desert. These bandit enemies are so annoying. The action command timing is rough, and if you miss, they steal your money. There are also Pokies, a fitting enemy for the area. They just throw their head at you. Cooper is great for these guys because anyone who touches them takes damage themselves instead. One of the toads back in Toad Town warned you about the whirlwinds in the desert. They'll warp you to a random location. This place is absolutely massive. I believe it's a 7x7 grid of areas, 49 in total. So here's something you all may have seen in a different video. There's this worthless block that if you hammer it, you get a mushroom. 10 times you get a super shroom, and 64 times an ultra shroom. But what if you hit the block continuously for like 30 years? Well, it crashes the game. There's some variable counting how many times you've hit the block for those hidden ones, and it overflows after that long, and yeah. The game doesn't like that. I'll leave it to someone else to show it off though. Always BP. With that level up, I had enough to equip Quake Hammer. It always feels so satisfying. I guess cause the meter charges up slowly, really gives that feeling of slamming the hammer to the ground. But yeah, I decided to explore the entire desert before going to the outpost. Not too much interesting out here, but lots of fights to gain XP on. I'll take this time to talk about the graphics and audio. I think the graphics on this are fantastic. I'm not sure how people felt back then, but it has aged amazingly, and it's an aesthetic they've kind of stuck with for all the future Paper Mario games. One of the best looking N64 titles in the modern day in my opinion. The music's so good too. I mean, there's like 2.5 hours of songs on there. I guess if I had to pick one I particularly like, it's one of the later boss fights. The tornadoes aren't always bad. This one lets you reach a ledge with a spin attack badge. It's a nice quality of life one for late game. Of course, gotta make a stop by the Oasis and get our first super block. These let you power up one of your teammates to gain an additional damage point, as well as learn a new move. I went with Goombario first because his attack hits twice, so it's technically +2 damage. After exploring every desert tile, and I mean all of them, I entered the outpost. Everyone here was raving about their leader, Master Moustafa. Then the shopkeeper just sprinted out and ran away. That was weird. All those secret areas in the desert are learned from this one dude in town. I just kind of already knew about them, but you don't need a strategy guide to find them, which is nice. This random mouse gives some backstory on the desert and outpost. Long ago, this place was called Dry Kingdom, ruled by King Mousta. He was betrayed by some of his subjects, sending the kingdom into chaos. He led an uprising with some fellow thieves, and they succeeded. These were the original people that built the outpost. The information trader is in the back of town. He says his name is Sheik, and he wants 3 items to learn things. You can give him whatever you want. Basically, he tells how the desert contains more secrets than anywhere else. One such secret is Dry Ruins. It's hidden underneath the desert, and only by speaking to Mr. Moustafa can I find it. Also, he says his favorite food starts with an L and ends with an N, and grows in the oasis. Jeez, asking me to kill a lion is a bit much. Oh, right, lemon, that makes more sense. I brought the lemon back to Sheik, and he said he'd tell me the ultimate secret. If I go to the shop and buy a dried shroom followed by a dusty hammer, the shopkeeper will recognize me as a friend of Mr. Moustafa. Another thing I haven't mentioned yet is checking items. Since you can only hold 10 at a time, you don't want to get rid of the really good ones like Ultra Shroom or Wacka's Bump. The shop can hold items for you that you don't want to hold on to, which is really nice. So I bought the items and the shopkeeper completely popped off. If I want to see Mr. Moustafa, I just need to go to the highest part of the city. I wonder if this guy starts freaking out when someone buys a dried shroom. He's like, oh god, what if they buy a dusty hammer next? Like, it's not exactly a complex password. Whatever. So I went in that house at the back, climbed up, and found Sheik in a loft. But in an insane twist, he's actually Mr. Moustafa in disguise. Oh my god, who could have seen that coming? He thanked me for being so generous and thinks he can trust me with the secret of the ruins. I obtained a pulsing gem which would indicate how close I am while traveling the desert. I had found a letter in a tree a while back, and this is another piece of side content, delivering the letters that Parakarry lost. The traveling nomad mouse got one from Moustafa. He says he can't remember who that is. What? He's the leader of the entire outpost. You typically get a star piece for delivering them. It's easy to find the location of the ruins, especially if you already know where it is. Placing it within the odd-shaped rock causes quite the mess to happen. Reminds me of that one scene in Aladdin where the Cave of Wonders or whatever comes up. But yeah, this is the legendary Dry Ruins, our main dungeon of the area. Upon entering, we're greeted by evil Tuten Koopa, who says no one should ever enter his temple, and we will face his wrath and yada yada. Right away in a sarcophagus, I found a very good badge, Spike Shield. This lets me jump on spiked enemies safely, which, yeah, power bounce, even more OP now. So the main way you get around in this place is there are certain rooms where the exit is too high. It's an odd design choice, but above these, there will be a room where you can press a switch to drain the sand. How do they get the sand back up there later, though? So some new enemies here, we've got Pokey Mummies, which are the same as normal, except poisonous, and these annoying bats. Even with Spike Shield, I just can't jump on these guys. In fact, most attacks can't hit them. I believe all I can do right now is either Quake Hammer or Parakarry's ability. I made it to a room with a treasure chest sign on the wall, and Tuten Koopa really didn't want me in here. Something tells me this dude isn't as scary as he sounds. It's a simple puzzle where you hit switches to flip the orientation of 2 separate sets of stairs. In here, a huge upgrade, the Super Hammer. My hammer's charge damage does 4 now, but I can also break stone blocks. The second upgrade block of the game is in here. I put it on Bombette because her special attacks are pretty sick. Now we've got to go into these 3 rooms with stone chain chomps guarding 3 special stones. They're not too scary, only 1 defense. With all the upgrades to damage I've gotten lately, that's nothing. Geez, even the buzzy beetles are on the ceiling now. I hate when enemies do this. Always BP, oh my god. I killed all the stone chomps, obtained the stones, and placed them at the stone chomp altar. This made the entire place shake, and a hidden staircase was revealed nearby. It was time. In this room that was somehow completely pitch black with torches burning, Tuten Koopa revealed himself. I mean, he doesn't look all that tough. So the main idea in this fight is he sits up on a ledge and occasionally summons chain chomps. Yep, not the stone ones, the real thing. These have a defense of 3, so most of my attacks deal 0 damage. He's also got this annoying magic attack, which ultimately makes rocks fall from the ceiling. The damage isn't too bad, but man, getting Goombario's stun really sucks here. Oh yeah, he's glowing because I previously used his new attack Charge, which makes his damage increase by 2. Of course, his magic isn't always good. Seems he doesn't have great control over it. Yeah, Goombario dealing 8 damage in a single attack is pretty busted for early game. It got a little sketchy what with Goombario getting knocked out, but I won first try. Any chain chomp summon when Tootin' Koopa runs out of HP dies with him. The chomp completely turns on him. In Goombario's tattle message, it said he has been known to overwork them, making them very resentful. And with that, I had rescued Mamar, the second star spirit. Getting deep in there now. Now we're back in Peach's castle where Bowser says he's gonna make Mario face the invincible Tubba Blubba, the strongest person Bowser knows. Kammy Koopa comes in and says there's an emergency, and the Star Spirit has managed to escape Tubba's castle. In control of Peach now, I use the secret passage once again to leave, and I could explore the castle a bit more now. There are Koopa guards with flashlights, and if you step in them, you get thrown back into Peach's room. I went to the library, which is horribly arranged by the way. There was a Power Rush badge that I picked up. Seems useless for Peach to have badges though. Well, it just so happens there's a magical chest in this storage room. Putting items into it causes them to appear in a different chest somewhere in the Mushroom Kingdom. Anyway, I went back into the library where Hammer Bros and Koopa were gossiping. They talk about how Tubba Blubba loves eating ghosts and he lives deep beyond the Forever Forest. Apparently, Tubba Blubba's invincible, but maybe not so much. He has a secret past where he didn't used to be so tough. Well, that's convenient to learn. And then Peach gets thrown back into her room. Back to Mario now, and Mamar upgrades our star energy to 2. We also learn Lullaby, which puts most regular enemies to sleep. It's not one of the better abilities though, so I don't use it much. I farmed Wacka some more and he died. Well, I mean, at least I have lots of overpowered heals. The third upgrade block is reachable with the Super Hammer. Neither Koopa nor Parakarry are that amazing leveled up once, so I just picked Cooper. This Toad is noticing she hasn't seen the cute Wacka around for a while and wonders if we know anything about where it went. Yeah, I gotta return some videotapes. So there's a bunch more side stuff to take care of. Some of you may remember this. Usually you deliver a letter and receive a star piece in return. This one in particular though, Goompapa starts a huge chain where it feels like it never ends. He takes the letter about going on a fishing trip and wants us to give a new one to Must-T outside the castle. While I'm here, I can break this stone block to get a repel gel, one of the best items in the game. There's a spot in Mario's house where you can read letters written to him. He even got one from the Koopa Bros, and they're still way too salty about losing. Sounds like a skill issue. Also, there's some music notes coming from the floor, which is really weird. I brought Must-T his letter, and he was so excited that he remembered he wanted to send a letter to Koover in Koopa Village. Ugh. Here you go, Koover. Here's your dumb letter about the dumb fishing trip. What's that? Oh, you want me to send a letter to Fishmail in Toad Town? Oh, yeah, sure, that's fine. I'm not busy saving the world or anything. Of course, can't forget about old Koopa Coot. He dropped his wallet on the way back to his house and he needs me to find it. So I did. And he gave me a single coin. Why do I bother with him? I brought Fishmail his letter and he's hyped everyone wants to go on a big fishing trip. Then I had to bring a letter right back to Koover. Man, the convenience of instant text messaging is not lost on me after this. Here you go, dude. Oh, what's that? You want me to bring a letter to Mr. E in Dry Desert? Yeah, no problem. I've got plenty of time. Of course, old Koopa Coot's got his lust for a martini. Gotta get him that. Oh, thank you for the 1 coin again. He says he heard about a beautiful fortune teller on Shooting Star Summit, but he's too shy to ask for her autograph. Yeah, I'll get it. I traveled to Merlovely and she's like, wait, no one has ever asked for my autograph. Well, she'll only do it if I go get her crystal ball from her sister in the Dry Outpost. I just feel compelled to keep doing these things for some reason, but it just feels like I'm getting scammed, I swear. Time to take a detour to the sewer. It's another tussle with the blooper. I keep getting myself in these really scary situations. This guy's an electro blooper and has 50 HP. Of course, I hadn't saved the game in like 600 years. He does 3 damage and I've only got 15 HP. And I also deposited all my items in storage. Normally, Power Bounce can always bail me out, but this guy electrocutes himself, making me recoil after the first jump. So the plan was to instead use Power Jump to deal 4 damage, while also getting rid of the electricity. Then using Goombario's Charge Bonk to deal 8 damage. That's 12 per turn, then Refresh can keep my health and FP up. Well, that was really nerve-wracking, but I got out of it. For winning, I unlocked a shortcut system. Those 3 pipes lead to Goomba Village, Koopa Village, and Dry Outpost. It's a really nice quality of life feature. Bombette is absolutely cracked at taking out groups of enemies now, although it does take 6 FP. Oh look, I finally got the Power Smash badge. It's pretty decent. I'd put it at like a C or B tier. It's just the same as Power Jump, but for the hammer. Yeah, I missed my first Chuck Quizmo question here. How was I supposed to remember what their house looked like? Here's your dang letter, Mr. E. Apparently, Coover buys stuff from Dry Outpost all the time. Oh, you want a letter delivered to Miss T in Toad Town? Conveniently, this is right next to the alley where Merlovely's sister is. This is actually a really interesting NPC. You can pay a load of coins to randomly get a huge boost during battle, but you never know when it'll come up. Here you go, Miss T. Oh, it's a love letter from that guy? Well, that's just great. Oh, a letter to the shopkeeper in Dry Outpost? Oh my god, I was just there! Oh yeah, that chest from Peach's castle? The other one's located in Merlovely's house. Power Rush is actually an amazing badge, although it can be risky. If you have 5 or less health, you gain 2 attack damage. Alright, almost done now. I gave her the crystal ball and then took the autograph back to Koopa Koot. He actually gave me 3 star pieces this time. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then I finally brought the letter to the shopkeeper in Dry Desert. He says he sends her products made with lemons and limes to keep her skin clear. Of course, I'm not done. I had to deliver yet another letter, but this time it's to Frankie in the mansion in Forever Forest. Hey, I can't go there, so I guess I can finally progress the game. So now I headed east at the southern end of Toad Town, and the guard there is mortified about a ghost he saw. Mario doesn't seem to notice it though, and ultimately it heads into the forest. Walking over there, and Mario's stopped by the boo. He says his master wishes to see us at the mansion on the far end of the Forever Forest. She's apparently got important information regarding the star spirits, so it seems like a good idea. Also, if we don't come, he's gonna scare us apparently. This place is super dark and scary. The forest typically goes in a circle with a path leading out of each. All paths except one take you back to the start of the forest. The way to tell is there's some difference on the correct path. Like for this one, the flowers laugh and spin around. There was some sketchy guy in the next area. He says the way ahead is incredibly dangerous and only lets us through because we've been invited to the mansion. He's basically there to prevent you from coming here before getting to chapter 3. I don't even know what he's supposed to be. Like, he kind of resembles the fortune tellers, I guess? He's a weird NPC. And we've got some new enemies. This game does this a lot where it reuses NPCs but gives them new abilities. These forest fuzzies can divide into more of themselves. At least it's good to get more experienced. Their bite also heals them if you don't guard against it. You already know. Always BP. Hey look, it's a third one of those bubulb plants. I got a third seed from it. It said if I plant the seed somewhere bad, then it'll put an evil curse on me. Yeah, right, buddy. Oh look, piranhas make their first appearance here. I guess it's fitting for plants to be in a forest. They stick their mouth up and are considered a spiky enemy for jumping purposes. Bombette can literally kill all of them in one attack though, so we're all good. I trudged my way forward and I made it. The Boo's Mansion. It's as impressive as I'd imagined. The door is definitely made of chocolate though. Like that one Japanese game show where you have to like guess whether common objects are real or chocolate. Dang it, Bombette, this is a one-person chair. Get off of there. Oh, remember this little Easter egg where you become 8-bit? Kinda wish there was a way to keep that outside of this room. My adventure brought me to a second floor room with an out-of-place wardrobe. Several boos came out and one of them was holding a record. If I wanted to have it, I had to guess which boo was holding it. I mean, what can I say? This is one of the easiest puzzles ever. Not even that fast. I know exactly what I want to do with this thing. So there's this boo guarding a chest and he says he's super bored. I've got some music for you to listen to, buddy. Don't worry. You just kind of button mash A to keep it in the middle of the meter. He couldn't help himself from dancing and I got the weight. One of these couch cushions is wildly out of place and it blasted me up to the lights. Conveniently, the weight can keep this thing from retracting. Hey, This chest is a phony. A big fat phony. Down to the basement we go. There's a huge chest. Gotta be something juicy in there. Aw man, it's just a bunch of booze. They want to play the same game with these boots, but this time they're throwing them multiple times. Ooh, so tough. Gimme those boots. Oh man, these are huge. Mario's jump damage increases by 1, which kind of means it goes up by 2 since you bounce twice. Also, Mario can now ground pound to go through several breakable things in the overworld. With the boots, I made my way to the library to obtain the Boo's portrait. Is it supposed to just be a photo sitting there or what? That's weird. I then brought it to the empty picture frame upstairs where I was thanked for bringing it back, but also it said, hey, I never told you about the riddle for this. How did you know about that? I swear I've never played this game before. Anyway, I jumped through the painting to reach the top floor where 2 Boos were waiting. She says her name is Bao and the other guy's name is Bootler. Bao gave us all these tests to make sure we were really as good as we say, and it seems we are. She really needs a favor from us. Deep into Gusty Gulch lies the castle of the evil Tubba Blubba. He's a horrible monster and he likes to eat ghosts. The Boos aren't strong enough to even put a dent in him. He's even known as the invincible Tubba Blubba. They want Mario to help defeat him. Of course, if we help her, we will receive a star spirit in return. Apparently Skolar escaped from Tubba Blubba and the Boos captured him. Guess we've got no choice. We were gonna do that anyway. Bao joins our party to help our quest. It's the first time we don't get a say in the matter, even though it just repeats if you say no on all the others anyway, so like, does it really matter? Also, is her name Bao or Bo? I always said Bao, so that's what I'm sticking with. And another thing, I give all these characters voices in my head, and I always imagine her as like some fancy pants southern woman talking like, oh, I do declare. You get what I mean, right? We get access to the shop in the basement where an invaluable life shroom is sold. Actually, it is valuable. I mean, it's literally valued at 50 coins, but you know what I mean. Anyway, this revives you automatically when you die, so it's amazing. Now in Gusty Gulch, and we've got Hyper Goombas. If you let these dudes hit you, it deals 8 damage. Luckily, they have to charge up first. The one downside of getting this boot upgrade is it makes the timing for power bounce a bit trickier. I'll take it though. Also, the damage for power bounce doesn't stay at 2. It starts at your max hit, then decreases by 1 for each successive bounce. Yeah, that thing hurts bad. You can game over instantly if you screw up one of these fights. There's like a small civilization of tan, dusty colored Boos here. Apparently, Tubba Blubba came through just yesterday and gobbled up Herbert. Oh no, not Herbie. This guy talks about how one of those Boos knew the secret weakness to Tubba Blubba, but as he was saying it, he got gobbled up. Makes me think of that meme with the chocolate gorilla melting into the pot. Before we knew it, Tubba Blubba himself rolled in. One of the Boos urged everyone to hide, and Bao used her ability to hide Mario too. Apparently that was Stanley who got gobbled up. Okay, like, why didn't he disappear? This part makes no sense because literally everyone else does. He might have just gotten bored and left, or just, I don't know. I find this part so weird. Bao can make Mario disappear during battle too. It uses up 2 turns for her, but it causes any attacks to miss. Nearly gotta have it for this Hyper Clef. She can also slap all the enemies around. For this one, you've got to mash the joystick left repeatedly. It's a pretty weird movement to do. I thought this was pretty neat. I ran out of inventory, and when you discard an item, it gets launched behind you and bounces away. I just happened to throw this sheep up on the block and it just stuck there. I've never seen that before. I made it past all the bad guys, and now I was in Tubba Blubba's castle. These guard things are kinda strange. Bao can hide you to prevent getting captured at least. I don't know, they kinda resemble bloopers? Here's some clubbas. These guys are so goofy. They just whack you with their, I guess that's a Morning Star? Also, Power Rush is so insane. I do 8 damage with a regular old jump attack against these dudes with it. Okay, this crack in the wall here annoys me so much. It looks just like a place where you'd bomb the wall, but nope, it's just aesthetics. Always BP. Or is it? Hey, look, there's a Boo in here. I guess some of them went on an expedition to find Tubba Blubba's weakness, and he got separated from the pack. Apparently, there's something extremely important hidden next to his bed. Our 4th super block here. I upgraded Bao because she gains an additional slap on her attack. Her new ability is just to scare enemies away, not great unless you're in trouble. Okay, I take that earlier thing about the crack back. This crack in the wall looks way different. Maybe I was just stupid as a kid. There's Pick-a-Path in here, although you can guess where you've got to land if you just remember the room from earlier. So this room has these alternating spikes. You're supposed to use Bow's ability to avoid them, but if you're extremely precise with your spin and jump timings, you can make it in a single cycle. It's really satisfying to pull off. They certainly don't want you finding this badge easily, and for good reason too. Push the grandfather clock out of the way, then open the drawer to have a path up to the bed, climb the bookshelves, then all the way in this random hidden room is the Mega Rush badge. Absolutely nuts. When you're at 1 health, your attack goes up by 4, and it stacks with Power Rush. So anyway, I was nearing the top of the castle and ran into Tubba Blubba in a hallway. You just gotta sprint past him, although you can end up in combat if you're not careful. You won't be able to hurt him if you do. You're supposed to sneak past all these clubbers by walking slowly to not wake them up, but come on, it's tons of free XP. I was in his room now. Unlucky for us, he decided to come take a nap. Why does Mario press his nose against the bed like that here? So strange. Also, that's an absolute mammoth of a bubble coming from his nose. What the heck? Within this chest next to his bed is Yaki, the very chatty key who guards Tubba's valuables. He sure likes to talk, and he says he's the key that unlocks the windmill at the foot of Gusty Gulch. He asks, hey, do you intend to find out Tubba's secret weakness located within the windmill? And I'm like, obviously. He admired my honesty, but then screamed at the top of his lungs anyway. Tubba was awake now and it was time to scram. He does a big old butt slam, knocking both the bridge and the game's frame rate down. I sprinted as fast as I could out of that place and there was a bunch of ghosts ready to help us stop Tubba. Lucky for them, we already got the key, so now they can just hold the door shut. I'm sure they'll be okay. They don't need me. It doesn't jump back to the windmill, you actually run back there for real. You can talk to all the ghosts along the way and they're all scared and whining like, I don't want Tubba to come back. Also, what's with this weird singular coin block in this round building? I never knew that was there. Enough of that. Time to finish this guy. What's the big secret all about anyway? At the heart of this place was, well, a heart. This guy here is the secret to Tubba Blubba's strength. The heart is the one controlling everything. He obviously can't let me out alive, so time to fight. This battle can kill you easy if you're a dumb 8-year-old like I was. Lucky for me, I'm smarter than one of those now. At least I think I am. He talks about how this attack is impossible to avoid, but he's gotta prepare a bit first if we don't mind waiting, you know? If you don't use Bow's Out of Sight or Repel Gel, well, you lose 12 HP. Big yikes. Even if he does the weaker attack, it does 6 damage. Just the first true test of the game. If I wasn't scared, I'd get myself to 1 HP before the battle and just nuke him with Power Bounce. As long as you avoid the big attack, it's just an endurance test. When you get him weak, he says he's hurting and has to leave. At the entrance, the heart decides it's time to reunite with old Tubba, and now they're stronger than ever. Now for the real boss. Or maybe the other was the real boss? This guy literally only has 10 HP, so it's pretty free. Well, as long as you don't have low health, the attacks themselves still hurt you. He was finally finished. Oh yeah. Bad news for the always BP gang. The game only allows you to raise it to a maximum of 30. Bummer. From here, I just kinda started randomly putting it in both HP and FP. Tubba starts whining that we hurt him, and now he'll be known as the not invincible Tubba Blubba, which is super lame. He's actually a really sensitive guy, he's just got an intimidating body. Yeah, but like, you were eating the ghosts. That's pretty mean. Bow talks about how they used to love scaring Tubba Blubba before Bowser made him invincible. So they were bullying him? Maybe he just wanted revenge. Oh well, I think both sides are mean here. And here we are, our 3rd star spirit of the game, Skolar. Only 4 more to go. So right on cue, we're back in control of Peach for a very brief mid-chapter segment. Bowser and Kammy Koopa are in the room dealing with the news that Tubba Blubba was defeated. That was apparently their ace in the hole, and they believe Mario will go to Shy Guy Toy Box next. Okay, this part makes no sense. How did they not hear the platform turning? Or even Kammy just sees it happen? Like, come on. They do wind up discovering her and use this to their advantage. They ask her what Mario hates most, but she must be honest. So this affects the upcoming chapter. Whatever you say will be placed there at various points. I picked all the strongest enemies cause, you know, I want some free XP. Peach is then dragged back to her room. That was a quick one. Back to Mario and Skolar gives us arguably the best Star Spirit attack, Starstorm. It uses 2 energy, but it hits all enemies for 7 damage regardless of their defense or position. Pretty sick. Alright, time for more busy work. We've got access to the mansion now, so I brought Frankie his letter. He was happy to hear from the tradesman, and of course he wanted us to deliver a letter. You know, if it's not too much trouble, that is. No, it's okay, all good. I'll I'll take this to Dane T right away. Before I could get far, I was interrupted by the one and only Junior Troopa. I'd honestly forgotten about this fight. He says he's lost in the forest and scared, but then remembers he's supposed to act tough. He starts the battle by gaining wings and becoming an airborne enemy. Don't you remember I can jump, buddy? Dude, I'm telling you, pretty lucky is a solid badge. Don't count it out just because it's RNG. It's an easy fight. I guess if you were caught off guard with no jump badges equipped, but why would you do that? I kicked his butt and he ran off into the forest. Bootler wanted us to give a letter to Feist T at the entrance to the forest, and this one's pretty good. He's just trolling him like, oh dude, I'm totally gonna come haunt you some more while you're sleeping. You better look out. It's gonna be super scary. I love it. Before I got any further, I heard Taste T screaming from her house about her frying pan. I then saw a Shy Guy run off with it. Well, I don't have time to investigate all that. Then at the badge shop, another Shy Guy running off with the owner's calculator. What the heck is going on here? Can't even take a nap at the Toad House with all this commotion. This has gone far enough. They really want you to check the post office here. Everyone talks about how the Shy Guys went in there. Even this dude who totally would stop them if only he didn't have a bum leg. Yeah, right, buddy. And it was true. A Shy Guy ran off with the bag of letters in there. Merlin told us about a secret at the Red Palm Tree and Dry Outpost, but I had a secret of my own. Butt slamming 3 times in here causes a quick change badge to fall down. Honestly, not sure how I knew it was there. With over 25 star pieces collected, I now had enough to buy the Flower Saver badge, an amazing one. It lowers the FP cost of all special attacks by 1, although it costs a whopping 6 BP to equip. Hey look, the Shy Guy's running the local shop. What a nice guy. Nah, he's actually being mean, but you all already knew that. Bop him on the head. Things are so disastrous here that this family thinks I'm a Shy Guy with a Mario disguise on. They won't even let me inside. Colorado wrote a letter to Mario, and it's interesting how he says he was the one who found Dry Ruins. Well, whatever, float your boat. So those music notes from last chapter are supposed to be a hint that there's a secret here. Somehow, Luigi created this secret basement where he keeps his diary. There's a bunch of stuff in here about how it's so unfair that Mario gets to go on an adventure, but there's also stuff about he's scared and he needs Mario there to help him anyway. Yeah, probably best we left you behind. Next, I went to that red palm tree and ran around it like Merlin said. One of the people nearby says I need to cut it out because I'm making him dizzy. I inform him about Merlin's vision and he says that's nonsense. But if we do believe that stuff, he had a dream that there's a house with a spinning roof, and if you ground pound 3 times in there... Oh, that's how you learn about the badge in his house. I just did things in the wrong order. Oops. Of course, we've got to see what Koopa Coot wants this time around. He had a rather odd request. He's too old to get out and about, so he wants to know what's going on in the world. I just had to go read the news bulletin in Toad Town. It's just talking about the chaos with all the Shy Guys running around. On the underground news, a Koopa's ranting about how many Koopas Mario has killed in his adventure so far. Sorry about that. As per usual, he doesn't want my efforts to go unrewarded, so I earned 1 coin. Now he wants me to bring him a life shroom because he thinks he's at the end of his days. Wait, does that just work for old age? Well, it's a valuable item, but sure, here you go. Another 1 coin reward, but also a gold card for the playroom in Toad Town. Okay, pretty decent. He then wanted me to have Taste T make him some nutty cakes. Well, lucky for us, her frying pan was stolen, so can't do that right now. For getting that gold credit, I unlocked Smash Attack in the playroom. There's a bunch of boxes and 10 of them have Peach inside. This time there's no insta-lose box, so that's nice. There's nowhere near enough time to hit every box, but the boxes occasionally reveal what's inside. I think this is one of the best ways to farm money in the game. If you win, you get 1 coin for every 10th of a second remaining on the timer. Alright, the end of the letter chain for now. I gave it to Dane T, and apparently Frankie invited him to the Haunted Mansion. He didn't want to go alone, so he wanted me to send a letter to the Yoshi kid on the island about going. Well, no idea what that is, so guess we're stuck for now. Now it's time to explore more of the sewer. I've got access to the lower floor where Dark Koopas are. These dudes really suck. Their main attack makes Mario dizzy for 2 turns, and it's so hard to dodge. Like, there's not much of a threat of dying, but it takes a while to finish the fight. Well, scratch that. I was literally about to die to these guys because I gave my only live stream to stupid Koopa Coot. Oh my god, is this the end? Well, we get to use Bow's spook ability here. It's rarely useful, but this was the perfect opportunity for it. I gained a shortcut to the Boo Mansion for this. There's this new guy in town, Chet Rippo. He says for the low price of just 39 coins, he'll upgrade one of my stats. Why, that sounds like an amazing deal. Almost too good to be true. Yeah, he lowers your other stats in exchange for it. Not good. Yet more mischief, the Shy Guys stole the key to the storeroom in the other shop in town. The bar is clear of them at least. They've got a strict no Shy Guys policy here, so I guess kudos to them for abiding by it. So this is something I'd never actually done in this game, part of the perks of walking around talking to all the NPCs. There's a little mini quest in the bar where earlier in the game this music writer says he can't think of any good lyrics lately. If you come later though, he has a breakthrough. The pop diva next to him also lost her ability to sing due to the shock of the castle being taken away. He says, hey, can you go to the desert and find a composer to write some music for these lyrics? So in Dry Outpost, the composer's there and he loves making music, but he sucks at lyrics. Well, buddy, you're in luck. I've got the best song lyrics in the world right in my pocket. He felt so inspired after reading them that he wrote his best song yet. So I immediately headed back to the bar and Chanterelle, the pop diva, felt confident enough to sing. And let me tell you, it's an absolute banger. I love how the bartender randomly shows up to play the guitar here, then immediately pulls the glass back out to clean it. I was rewarded with an Attack FXD badge. I haven't mentioned any of these so far, but they take 0 BP and just change all the sounds in the game. I don't really like using them, but I left this one on for a while since I'd never used it before. Alright, with that done, time to advance the game. There's an abandoned house the toads in town swear they've seen Shy Guys run into. But, like, it's empty, so where are they going? Well, if you use Bow to turn invisible, you eventually see one run in and open a fake wall. Through here is the entrance to our next area, Shy Guy's Toy Box. One of the first things we see here is the consequences of the questioning with Peach. Whatever the first option we told Cammy was will be warped to guard this chest. If you picked an item, well, guess you get a freebie. These toads work at the train station here, but the train's missing. The tracks are broken as well. I always thought it was weird that there were toads in this box. How did they know how to get here? As you might expect, Shy Guys are the main enemies here. They do this attack where they jump on you. If you don't guard it, the crowd cheers. If you do, they get all sad and just walk off. There's also Sky Guys. Great name, by the way. They're kinda like Para-Shy Guys in a way. They shoot rocks with a slingshot. That chest the clubber was guarding had the storeroom key in it. Why did the Shy Guy lock it in this chest anyway? I always liked bouncing on these jack-in-the-box things. This place is probably my favorite world as far as theming goes. These are Groove Guys. I love how Goombario's like, yeah, they shake their booties to call in reinforcements. Who the heck at Nintendo wrote that one? That attack's mildly irritating, but the one where they spin and make you dizzy really sucks. It can injure Run quick. This guy called in a Medi Guy, which is weirdly in a clown car. They just heal the other Shy Guys when they're hurt and are otherwise relatively normal. To the left was a large room with several Shy Guys holding items. First order of business is getting this cake mix. That'll come in handy later. Also gotta pick up the calculator so I can get the badge shop opened back up. I went back to Toad Town and opened the storeroom with that key. The shopkeeper's like, hey Mario, don't open that without my permission. Oh, hey, what? You got the key back. He lets me take everything inside as things. And wouldn't you know it, one of the things is a toy train. Bringing the calculator back gives me the I Spy badge. It's invaluable if you're trying to 100% this game. And concluding this first trip back by just yeeting the toy train into the box. Jeez, we're lucky that landed where it did. Could have easily killed someone. Now with the train fixed, I can open more of this world. The two switches let you choose the direction, and since left track is broken, guess we're going right. This part was a bit tricky for me. You gotta lure a Shy Guy from the side over here, then realize there's a rotating wall in this area. I mean, again, it's not hard to figure out as an adult, but back in the day, whoo, buddy. Because of Peach's antics, we get access to a late game enemy pretty early, the Hammer Bros. This guy has this annoying attack where he just chucks a barrage of hammers at you. If I didn't have the Defend Plus badge I got here equipped, each one of these would deal 2 damage. So yeah, that I Spy badge puts a star piece symbol over your head when you enter a room with a hidden panel. These would be obnoxious to find without it. Although this is the age of YouTube, so I'm sure there's like 50 guides on them out there. Of course, some of these rooms are really big, and there's not a great way to search for these things. It can be pretty annoying. Back to Toad Town we go. I gave Tasty her frying pan, and she was so happy that she cooked a cake for me. Oh, whoops. Guess I didn't need that cake mix after all. I also brought back the post bag, just a star piece in return. It seems Parakarry received a letter from Wacka. Must be kind of old, cause, well, you know, we killed him. Anyway, while I'm here, may as well get that nutty cake made for old Koopa Koop. Yeah, you already know, he gave me 1 coin. At least he can't think of anything else he needs for now. Alright, back in we go. This is Gourmet Guy. He really likes cake. I mean, this dude is going absolutely nuts. No idea how he can run around that fast. He gets so hyped that he just launches himself into the sky, dropping a cookbook along the way. Giving that to Tasty allows you to use 2 ingredients at once to make even more items. Man, there sure are a lot of Shy Guy variants. The Pyro Guy makes you take damage if you contact him. Even Spike Shield doesn't help. If I had any water attacks, they would do increased damage. Having a lot of them at once can be annoying, but Starstorm just deletes them in 1 attack. So good, dude. This station has these 4 colored boxes. Honestly, I'm not sure how you're supposed to find out the order here. I just brute forced it since there's only 4 factorial or 24 possibilities. It fixes the track when you get it right. I always thought this was a really clever use of Bal's ability. The conveyor just auto pushes you through the fence. The final variant of these Shy Guys, the Spy Guy. These things absolutely suck. If you don't time the action command, they just remove one of your commands. Like, now I can't jump. If they take both the jump and hammer away, well, I guess you're screwed. Alright, I've traversed several areas in this place and ended up in a pitch black room. Inside is I guess that's a ghost? He's holding a lantern. He says he hates the light, so why is he holding it? Maybe it's because he can use it to blind people. Oh god, I hate attacks that stun your teammates. It's so frustrating. You have to attack the lantern to make it brighter, the damage you deal doesn't matter. Therefore, Bal's slap is ideal here. Once the light's bright enough, you can see well enough to attack. He winds up blowing the light out every so often, so that's why Bal is queen here. Just repeating that process makes the fight pretty easy. If Bal gets stunned, then I would just heal up until she's back. I kicked his butt and he ran off whining like a baby. He left his lantern behind, so naturally I smashed it with the hammer. Out came a spark? This is Watt, and she's our newest party member. Her ability outside of battle is to light up dark areas. Not only that, certain hidden blocks get revealed when it's active. I found the new super block, and actually this is interesting. When you obtain Watt, it refers to her as her, but then with this block it says heal learn turbocharge. Maybe they go by any pronouns. This part is great. You blow up this wall of blocks and there's just a horde of Shy Guys running away yelling on the other side. Like, oh, sorry to bother you all, I didn't realize there was a meeting happening. Watt's basic attack is great because it ignores defense, which can be huge in certain fights. The crowd is so terrified of me that I didn't even have to blow this wall up. They did it for me. Now it was time. In here is the boss of this area, General Guy. He's kinda mean. He says I'm rather rude and I'm also trespassing. I mean, that may be true, but you don't have to point it out so bluntly. The fight starts with that horde of Shy Guys from before. If I didn't have Defend Plus equipped here, I literally would have died in 1 hit. They start with 15 members and attack you once for each member left. As you deal damage, the size of the squad shrinks until they're all gone. Once they're dead, the general himself comes in and he's in some weird vehicle thing. He summons Stilt Guys who weirdly fold in on cards? I don't know how that works. They behave mostly like normal Shy Guys. Next, he brings in Shy Stacks. They do 1 damage per guy in the stack, although with Defend Plus and Damage Dodge it can go as low as 1. After taking them all out, all that was left was the General Guy himself. He hides in the tank, which has quite the defense. The main problem here is this electric attack, which I thankfully blocked here. It's one of those that stuns your party member if you don't. Watt is great here because she can attack the bulb and ignore its defense. Once the bulb is gone, no more electricity to worry about. After it's gone, this guy's just a basic enemy. Only throws bombs that can be reduced to 1 damage each with my badge setup. I took him down and his tank fell apart with him. Once the battle ends, the Shy Guys are all running around panicking once again. Even General Guys freaking out. All that work to get our 4th star spirit of the game, Muscular. We're getting really deep into it now. Back in control of Peach for the between chapter segment, and Gourmet Guy is here. It seems he got so hyped about that cake that he launched himself all the way to space. He said he's supposed to report me to Bowser, but if I can make him a tasty treat, he'll let this one slide. The kitchen's downstairs and it's locked, so he gave me a key. Down here was a room with a toad hiding in a wardrobe. What a freaking baby, toughen up. He jumps back in because he's too scared. This chest here, though, it contains a very powerful badge, Last Stand. You take half damage when in danger, which is quite good when synergized with Power Rush. Now in the kitchen, this is a part a lot of people probably remember. We're gonna bake a strawberry shortcake for Gourmet Guy. First, put sugar and eggs into the bowl. You all can try following this recipe at home too. Now whip the ingredients in the bowl together for 10 seconds by mashing A as fast as possible. After that, we put some flour and some butter into the bowl. Easy enough. We then whip the ingredients again, although this time it does it automatically. Peach then pours it into the baking pan. Next step, put the cake in the oven for 30 seconds. This part can't be repeated, and it really sucked as a kid, cause you don't find out it's bad until you try feeding it to him. Oh, what's that? You think I'm just watching that timer literally on my screen to perfectly get this first try? Why would I do that? That'd be cheating. Finally, we finished the cake by putting some cream and strawberries on top. Well, if y'all tried this yourselves, I'd love to know how it turned out. With the cake finished, I took it to Gourmet Guy, and he freaked the heck out. He was so happy that he said the next star spirit is in Mount Lava Lava on Lava Lava Island. Don't know why he told me that, but okay. And of course, Peach gets captured and brought back to her room. You'd think Bowser would put some tighter security there. Back to Mario, and we unlock our next Star Spirit attack, Chill Out. This one's pretty bad in my opinion because it doesn't really work on bosses, but it does lower enemies' attack power. One thing I forgot to do in the toy box is get the dictionary. It's guarded by an extremely late game enemy, the Koopa Troll. These dudes are nuts, 3 defense and a spike on their head. Lucky for me, items ignore armor, so I can just delete these dudes in an instant. There's also a slot machine here that thankfully doesn't give a star piece for getting 3 stars. Otherwise, this would be a miserable grind. Just a brief trip back to the sewer this time. Watt can reveal these hidden blocks, although you don't need to see them to hit them. Up here was our 6th upgrade block of the game, and it's time to finally give it to Parakarry. The back of the news board has an ominous message. Some guy named Kent C. Koopa says he has a great plan to make money, and he'd be seen on the road. Alright, let's get this over with. Koopa Koot says there's a racket going on next door, and he needs me to put a stop to it. There's a bomb next door who's in love with Bombette and keeps exploding because he can't have her. She basically tells him he's stupid and to knock it off. Doesn't hold back at all. Hey, he actually gave me star pieces this time. Sick. Next, he says he's been hearing people spread rumors about him that he's cheap, and he thinks that's ludicrous. He wants to get his reputation back as a nice and helpful bloke. Apparently at Boo Mansion, they have an old picture of him, and he wants to get it back. The Boo is basically like, oh, you're helping Koopa Koot? Oh, that sucks. He's known to use people. But if it'll get him to go away, he'll give me the photo. The guy trying to repair his reputation gives me 1 coin. Good job, dude. Now he wants me to head to Taste Tea and have him some delicious Koopasta cooked up. I love that he uses the word ravenous here. I always use that word when I'm super hungry. I got some dried pasta from Dry Outpost and went to Taste Tea expecting to get Koopasta. Instead, I was given spaghetti. Uh-oh. He didn't tell me how to make it. Luckily, I knew it was just missing a Koopa leaf. This is the first time you're required to use 2 ingredients. There we go. Koopasta. Basically spaghetti with pesto. Another 1 coin reward, but at least we don't have to deal with him anymore. Next, I returned the dictionary to Russ T, as well as a mystery note I found in the toy box. He translated it, and it says to hit yellow, green, red... Oh, this is how you figure out the solution to that box puzzle. I did some snooping on Luigi's diary. Apparently there was a Shy Guy sleeping in his bed. He talks about how they came from a toy box, and maybe they have a Nintendo 64 there. What the heck? How does he know what that is? Oh snap, this dude who has a crush on Min T got brave enough to help her fix up the garden. I'm sure she'll notice you, dude. Keep it up. Checking back in on those girls who bought the house, they're super bored now that the Shy Guys are gone. They admit Toad Town's kind of boring in general. We randomly get some backstory about Ralph, the badge shop owner. He was in a different town selling food rather than badges. He had a wife too, and they built their business up from the ground. But she's not here now. Did Ralph murder his wife? Is that what he's implying? That's my first conclusion, that's for sure. Colorado's here at the pier, and he apparently doesn't remember us. He wants to go to Lava Lava Isle to find treasures in the volcano, but unfortunately, he's got no way to get there. Lucky for us, there's a whale chilling here, and I'm gonna pound his blowhole. Colorado keeps calling him a tuna cause he's just so stupid. The whale says he's got a stomachache and wants us to investigate. Sure, I'll run into this creature's mouth. It was dark in here and I found this fuzzy looking thing. I remember the fisherman at the pier was using it as bait before. Well, guess we've got to fight. You're making this whale hurt. This is the worst fight of the game by far. Not cause it's hard or anything like that, but you can't tattle this enemy. If you take Watt away, it's too dark and no one can see. Oh my god, this bothers me so much, but I guess there's no other way. The Fuzzipede just camps on the ceiling, so I blasted it with Watt over and over until it died. It's like complaining that it was forced to be bait, and then it got eaten by a whale, now it's getting beaten up by Mario. Just then, the whale launches us out of its blowhole. Apparently, it was all a big misunderstanding. The whale was just taking a nap with its mouth open. It agrees to ferry us to Lava Lava Isle, even though the volcano makes it dangerous. We head off on our next journey. So here we are in a completely new area. We've got all these weird plants here. Already a wild place. Colorado decided to run off on his own and well, he's getting beat up by a fuzzy. We've got jungle fuzzies now. They're the same as before, but now you're guaranteed to take damage. Just have to mash A to get them to stop. Oh, we're in the Yoshi village now. The village elder is huge. I guess they're doing well for themselves here. He says it's too dangerous to go to Mount Lava Lava because of the jungle and the volcano being active. Yeah, well, too bad. Now that we're here, we can finally continue this never-ending letter chain. Apparently that Toad kid who wrote to this Yoshi kid made up a new game and wanted to tell him about it. Wow, glad I had to deliver that. Well, what are the chances? The Yoshi kid also made up a new game and wanted to tell the Toad kid about it. So sure enough, I've got to take a letter back to him. Ugh. May as well get it over with. He says they love being pen pals and we're a lot faster than that old postman. Then he asks if we can send a letter to Frost T in Starborn Valley. Well, that's like forever away, so don't have to worry about this for a while. While I was out and about, I had 25 star pieces and bought the Power Plus badge. Just increases the damage of all my attacks by 1. Insane. There's a fish in the village named Sushi. She says she's got to babysit these kids because they're always up to trouble. Well, talking to them made it seem like they had something big planned, so good luck. Oh well, Colorado's getting attacked again. He sucks. These are spear guys. Basically, if the spear is forward, don't use a close attack like the hammer. If it's up, don't use jump attacks. Easy enough. We were right at the entrance to Mount Lava Lava, but it's blocked by this river. Yeah, this place sure looks safe. We went back to the village and it was absolute pandemonium. The Yoshis were losing their minds because the kids ventured off into the jungle alone. Well, can't say I didn't warn them. Maybe they should go look for them instead of just pacing back and forth. Oh god, maybe those Yoshis were right. This plant was in disguise and wanted to kill me. Okay, I was trying to find a clip of me getting poisoned, and I swear this is the very first time it happened. It's gotta be more common than this. You just take 1 additional damage at the end of a turn when you're poisoned, and it goes away after battle. I equipped both the All or Nothing badge and Power Plus, and now my base jump was doing 8 damage. Basically, if I miss the action command, I deal 0. Otherwise, damage plus 1. But like, the commands are mostly easy, so it's free DPS. My internet went out during this stream and I got frustrated and just started looking around in the pause menu. I swear, I don't think I ever knew this map screen was here. Honestly, it's pretty cool looking. I feel like the game never talks about it. So anyway, Sushi somehow ended up in a tree. Literally no clue how that happened. Apparently there was a net trap there set by the Yoshi kids or something like that. Once getting her down, she joins our party to look for the kids together. A great party member and also opens up a ton more of the map. Now at these brown docks, we can travel through the water. It was here I found the 4th bubble plant. They say they want to give me their seed. Well, apparently it's not ready yet. They've got to recharge or something like that. Well, sure. I love these little flowers that do nothing but just honk at you. Here's the red Yoshi kid hiding behind this bush. He says Sushi was right and they should have just stayed in the village. Yeah dude, you should have. If Mario didn't show up, you'd be dead. Our 7th upgrade block of the game. Well, can only use it on Sushi at this point. She's a really good partner either way, so it's a good use. She has a normal belly flop, which is decent, but her special attacks are where she shines. Good against fire enemies, and one of them increases Mario's defense. I've got no clue how the green Yoshi ended up in this cave. It's separated by several bodies of water and a huge ledge. I also love how after you find them, they just try to run back to the village on their own. Like, are we sure they can find their way back on their own? This log is great. Too bad it gets used exactly 3 times in the entire game. Oh my god, the yellow Yoshi's about to get eaten. Well, I mean, do we have to help him? Oh yeah, I guess we do. These piranhas are the same as the ones in Forever Forest, except they have a breath attack that poisons you. I'd rescued all the kids and went back to the village. The elder said because I helped, he'd let me go to the volcano. Apparently this Jade Raven helps somehow. It leads me to Raphael the Raven, who will open the path. There's a pretty obvious place to set it, and the statue moves aside, revealing a new area. There's this weird puzzle where you move these blocks on the holes where water's spewing out. What's causing this to happen anyway? Once you plug them all, it has no room left and yeets the boulder away. Further back and on top of this way too big of a tree was Raphael the Raven. He says he knows we were coming because the stars told him. Yeah, he'll help us get to the volcano. Then he screams super aggressively and all these little ravens show up. We go a bit further in and he orders the small ravens to build something. When they're done, there's a pulley system to get me on top. Raphael then gives me the Ultra Stone. This lets me upgrade my party members a second time, which is amazing. Some of them get so strong. Finally, I was able to venture inside Mount Lava Lava. When I got in, there was this weird piranha screaming at me in all caps about reporting to the boss. There's no need to yell, sir. And thanks to Colorado for showing me this platform sinks. Appreciate you testing it first. So here's our first encounter with lava bubbles. They have one of those annoying attacks that stun your partner. Sushi is especially strong with her attacks because they're water-based. Well, if she wasn't stunned. You can't jump on them either. Also got Spike Tops showing up, a classic enemy. They have crazy defense, but Watch sure doesn't care about that. I always love going down these zip lines. I seem to remember there being some crazy glitch they do in the speedrun involving these. The first upgrade block with our new Ultra Stone, and I used it on Sushi. Her second special attack, Tidal Wave, is amazing against this place's boss. This badge was always tedious to get. Swear, there's not a good visual cue for when to jump off. See? Sushi is insane against the fire enemies. This one is weird because you hold A to the end of the meter, but have to keep it balanced near the edge. And here we go, yet another upgrade for us, the Ultra Hammer. Along with getting +2 hammer damage, I can break metal blocks in the wild. Now we can proceed into the depths of this place. Oh, Colorado? Well, he's still being his usual self. Who's worse, Colorado or Koopa Koot? This boulder gives Mario his own Indiana Jones moment, except with Speedy Spin equipped, it's kind of a joke. The absolute best part of this dungeon is getting to this second boulder. Like the devs had to be trolling here. This takes forever. Oh yeah, there was a second super block here. Put it on Watt because true damage is so strong. And here it is, the boss of this place, the Lava Piranha. It doesn't seem to speak very well, but it gets the point across. Kind of like an Unga Bunga language. This boss is honestly really basic. It's just a big piranha that shoots fire, and there are 2 piranha buds that also shoot fire. They have 8 health, so with my badge set up, I can one-shot them with jump. Before I knew it, the boss was dead. Wow. But then, oh my goodness, I had no idea this twist would happen. Surely, this caught me, the guy who's beaten this game a bunch, by surprise. Yeah, it comes back and is on fire this time. So this is why we upgraded Sushi Double. Her attack Tidal Wave makes you press the button shown in a short time period. The more you press, the more damage. More importantly, it gets rid of their fire. Of course, can't get out without one final Colorado appearance. This fight can be bad if you didn't upgrade Sushi because the fire comes back after a while. Her basic attack Squirt will only hit one at a time, so you would probably have to just focus on the main one and tank the buds. This time the boss was dead for real, but we still hadn't found that treasure Colorado was after. With that kill, we had now rescued our 5th Star Spirit, Miss Star, one of the best. It's not over yet though. The volcano is erupting and we've got to get out. Fast. Colorado doesn't want to leave without the treasure though, so he goes back to check if the boss dropped it. Unfortunately, there's only lava there now. Oh snap, there really is treasure, way up on this pillar. He's aggressively trying to reach it, and Miss Star's like, hey idiot, we've got to leave or we're dead. They fly through the spout of the volcano and narrowly escape at the last second. Back in control of Peach, and I wandered into a room where some guards were. They're like, well, she can't leave the castle anyway. What if we ask her to take part in our game? Peach has managed to get herself roped into being a contestant on the 64th Trivia Quiz-Off. This part is honestly just so goofy. They ask a bunch of revealing questions about the next star spirit that the guards conveniently answer for us. This is a weird question set, you know? After 10 questions were up, we earned a prize, the Sneaky Parasol. If I face someone and use it, I transform into them. The Hammer Bros remarks we better not use it for mischief. I think he's stupid. Bowser then walks in like, ooh, a game, I wanna play. Too bad, we don't wanna play with you. Then Peach gets discovered and dragged back to her room. Back to Mario, and Miss Star rewards us with our 5th star energy move, Smooch. It heals 20 HP, so it can be useful if you run out of items. I didn't even realize this would happen, but the yellow Yoshi smelled the apple pie I made at Tasty a while back and wanted it in exchange for a melon. I had no idea this interaction existed before this playthrough. Hey, the treasure got blasted out into the jungle during the explosion. I obtained the volcano vase. I then went over to that bulb and they say they gave their seed to Colorado because they forgot about me. Wow. Just wow. Him getting chosen over you would be one of the most embarrassing experiences possible. Reluctantly, I went back to him and exchanged the vase for the 4th seed. I'm gonna be needing it after all. Just as I was heading back on the whale to Toad Town, Junior Troopa swam to shore. Apparently, he swam all the way from Toad Town. You know what? That's impressive. However, we gotta go. Sorry. Well, he followed us all the way back. He really is persistent. Too bad for him, he used half his health doing all that swimming. However, he does transform to both fly and have a spike on his head. I mean, if you didn't have Spike Shield equipped, you'd still be fine with Starstorm and ally attacks. Yeah, this one's pretty easy. I think they could have just not lowered his health, honestly. Okay, what's up with this random Toad? I'm like, hey, did you know I went to Lava Lava Isle? It was really cool. He's just like, you know what? That's a big fat lie. I don't believe you for 1 second. What did I ever do to you, buddy? Those girls who bought the house are regretting their purchase too. They just feel like the town is so depressing lately. Big developments in the random NPCs almost no one talks to. With Sushi in our control, we can explore more of the sewer. Yeah, you swim around in that disgusting water. As expected, yet another blooper shows up, the super blooper. Sometimes it spawns in baby bloopers. They're not that scary, but the spawning animation sure is. It can also charge up and do a massive attack on you. Seriously, what the heck? I had no idea it was going to hit twice. This fight can be really scary if you come here immediately after Chapter 5. I made sure to disappear with Bao next time like I'm supposed to. The super blooper stood no chance. This fight unlocks a shortcut to Lava Lava Isle. Also, by blowing up an unmarked wall, you can find Rip Cheeto. This guy offers to sell you something amazing for only 64 coins. If you want to get all the badges, well, you've got to trade with him 10 times. This is seriously a really weird place to set up a business. This room also exits to the blue house to give a shortcut to the later parts of the sewer. In the latest Toad Town Underground news, some guy apparently got scammed buying photos of Princess Peach for 100 coins. They were all awful and they want revenge. Aw man, did this guy get roped into NFTs? Another sucker fell for it. Oh yeah, this pipe that had been taunting me since the start of the game is reachable now. There's yet another upgrade block down here. I went with Bao to get Fan Smack, which makes our slaps deal 2 damage each. Of course, we can't forget about Koopa Koop before going to Chapter 6. Do I even need to say what he gives me at this point? Now he wants me to get a lime to help him have some energy, cause he's feeling sluggish lately. Well, at least we have the shortcut pipes. Actually got star pieces this time. Heck yeah. He says the lime was too sour, so now he needs something sweet. He wants a kooky cookie. Gotta take a cake mix and Koopa Leaf to taste tea for that one. I went and made it, then took it all the way back. There's so much walking for this guy. I got my coin and got the heck out of there for now. I also went ahead and farmed enough coins to buy the 10 items from Rip Cheeto to get his star pieces, along with the badges in the shop. That's all the busy work for now, time to progress the game. I had to bring those 4 Bubulb seeds over to Min T in the garden so she could plant them. The nearby Bubulb says there's trouble in their home flower fields. Upon planting the 4th one, a door phased into existence in the garden. I entered the door and was transported to a mysterious world. By the way, did you know if you sit on this chapter screen long enough, the SMB1 music starts playing? I arrived in Flower Fields and heard a voice above. It was Wise Wisterwood, the oldest tree in this place. He said he heard we might come here to save a star spirit. He can't help us because someone named Hufflepuff has caused the sky to turn cloudy and dark. It's brought sadness to everyone in Flower Fields. If I want to get there, I'll need to take the cloudy climb. First, I need a magical bean though. Petunia has one, so I should ask her for it. He says talking to the other flowers around here will help me if I get stuck. Don't listen to this dude though. He's full of baloney. Pulling these vines down revealed a stinky herb. Yeah, make your own conclusions. Not all the flowers are nice here though. These crazy daisies are pretty dangerous. They sing so bad that it hurts your ears and causes damage. Then there's these bees. They're quick to kill, but they deal a ton of damage. Can be dangerous in large groups. I went east where I found Petunia. Ever since the clouds appeared, she's had this infestation of moles. They're hitting her roots and it's just not cool. I just had to run around and kill all of them in the area. They're the same as the ones on Mount Rugged, but stronger this time. She gave me the magic bean for helping her, but I had to promise not to plant it. As a seed, it's free, but once planted, it's stuck in one spot forever. Definitely don't plant it with fertile soil and miracle water. Yeah, thanks for that tip. A recurring theme in this area is these flowers guarding gates. They want something to eat and you've got to find a berry the same color as them. Conveniently, I found a red berry in a tree near Petunia. Every now and then, battles will contain these rough puffs. They're extremely free to kill, so not much else to say. Now I had the yellow berries too. There was a sparkling crystal tree this way. Posy was here, and apparently Mario makes fun of her nose. I think it looks like a hot dog, personally. She says she actually loves long noses, and mine could use to be a bit longer. Maybe this fertile soil will help it grow. I took the yellow berries to the gate where I found blueberries, along with yet another upgrade block. I went with Goombaria because he gets multi-bonk, which is kinda like Power Bounce in a way. Down this path was a rather large flower named Lily. She said the spring dried up and she was doomed to wither up. If only a prince would show up. Well, I guess a plumber will do, considering it's a water problem anyway. If I can find the water stone, it'll surely bring her area back to its old self. To the west, I found a maze. A couple Lakitus were flying around here. They dropped the water stone, which they were planning to use to power the puff machine, whatever that is. They decide they'll fight us to gain Hufflepuff's respect. They're mostly basic enemies. The only unique thing is they can spawn in Spinies to attack, which, oh yeah, Spinies are in this area too. Super easy fight. This is kind of an iconic part of this chapter. Running through this maze where you can't see yourself at all and have to guess which red pipe takes you to the end. Rosie was at the other side of this maze. She's just so pretty and wants everyone to admire her beauty. But Mario won't give in. I told her she's not pretty. Well, then maybe I will if I see this. And she holds up the water stone. Ah, crap, I need that. I shouldn't have been so toxic. I'm like, hey, Lily's gonna wither up and die if she doesn't get this back. Rosie's like, oh, well, that's just too bad. Lily thinks she's prettier than me, and that just won't stand. So the only way I can get it back is to find something even prettier than the stone. Remember that crystal tree? Well, I'm sure that'll suffice. Posy does something completely unladylike to cause a crystal berry to drop down. Looks like a ring pop to me. Well, here you go. She's like, oh, this is way prettier than that ugly water crystal. She reminds me to make sure to let Lily know it was her who saved her, then remarks how she's so beautiful, and she's even starting to scare herself. I can fix her, I swear. Rarely you can encounter a golden flower in this place, the Amazy Daisy. These things are so dangerous. They will typically just run away, but if they don't, they deal 20 damage. That's a big yikes, no matter how strong you are. They're basically a big star point pinata if you manage to kill them though, so it might be worth a try to take them on. With the stone in my possession, I was able to refill the lake where Lily's located. She was so happy. She gives me the miracle water for helping her. Heck yeah. Now I had access to the last unique berry here, the bubble berry. Conveniently, there's a bubble flower that had been taunting me since I got here. Now I can finally make use of it. Here was the final piece of the puzzle to reach the clouds, the sun. Well, he was the sun. Now he's super depressed because the clouds are preventing him from going into the sky. With that pesky puff machine around, there's just no chance. There's no way I can destroy it. Jeez, dude, you're such a Debbie Downer. On the way out, a green-haired Lakitu stopped me. He said his name is Lackluster. Wait, no, it's Michael. I mean, Spike. Yeah, the name's Spike. It's the most straightforward mini-boss there is. Just keep jumping on him and avoid the damage from the spinies he throws. He admits defeat and says we can finish him off with a fire flower to the eye or a POW block to the face. Before I can finish the job, a pink Lakitu named Lakalulu shows up. I guess they're a couple and she begs for forgiveness for him. Well, too bad, I want death, no forgiveness. She just pulls out a spiny and threatens Mario, who's afraid of her for some reason. We've beaten way stronger than her, come on. Guess we've got no choice, I'll forgive him. Lakalester has joined us as the final party member for this game. We can use him to hover over dangerous areas like spikes. Finally, the last path I couldn't access is open. There's a small puzzle with 3 different colored platforms, and ground pounding them causes corresponding ones to raise or lower. Through here was another upgrade block. May as well use it on Lakalester since he kinda sucks right now. And here it is, the Puff Puff machine. There's some Lakitus and a Magikoopa chilling near it, and they even talk to you. Eventually they're like, wait a second, you're Mario, we're supposed to fight you. This yellow Magikoopa can electrocute other enemies, making them damage you when you contact them. I kicked their butts, then did what I do best. Blast it with a hammer over and over, kinda like that Street Fighter minigame where you punch the car. Upon destroying it, the clouds dissipated and the sun was feeling euphoric. It instantly rose into the sky and everyone in Flower Fields took notice. They were all so happy. Finally, it's time to plant this magical bean. I kind of fast forwarded through the text here, but it's hilarious how the tree just gets super mad at you if you do it in the wrong order. He nearly loses his cool. My beautiful beanstalk. It was growing way faster than that weirdo Jax did. I love this part where the clouds are just various tasty treats as it spirals upward. It was so satisfying to get up here for the first time as a kid. Like, how cool is it to just walk among the clouds? I really wish they did more with this area. Alas, all this is a fancy place for the boss fight. Huff and Puff is buried beneath one of the clouds and he's like, hey, are you that dude who destroyed my machine? He wanted to make a cloud-covered paradise, I just wouldn't get it. It's time to fight. So when you jump on this guy, little puffs come out and he shrinks in size. The more damage you do, the more that come out. However, the more that are out, the more they deal when they swarm you. Not to mention, he just sucks them back up, healing himself. You can imagine to a child, this fight would feel impossible. Multi-target attacks are awesome here, cause if the little puffs are dead, no way he can suck them up, right? Oh no, adult me is wrong about this too. It didn't do anything to the little ones. Okay, I'm actually not sure why that didn't work. Starstorm takes them out just fine. If he doesn't suck them up, he charges up for this lightning attack. It hurts really bad, so probably don't want that happening very much. Dude, Goombario is kinda cracked. Charge into multi-bonk, insane DPS. Or you could just spam charge over and over because it stacks. Nuke him with 9 damage per hit. Huff and Puff wasn't up to snuff. He explodes like a bunch of fireworks and we get the card with our second to last Star Spirit. Oh my god, so close now. We're back in control of Peach and she's doing exactly what that Hammer Bro said not to do. She's causing mischief with the sneaky parasol. Unbelievable. It's definitely weird being in Peach's room as a Koopa troll. There's no interesting dialogue for it though, unfortunately. This Hammer Bros is pretty sus. He's like, what? What do you mean? I'm definitely not looking for the book you think I am. Here, take this and forget you saw me. Wait, what kind of book is he talking about? Do they have naughty books in the castle library? Now in disguise, I can go even further into the castle. This dude is supposed to be on break, but his relief is slacking. I've got to find him. He's just outside taking a little nap. Even if you talk to him as Peach, he won't wake up. Well, I guess I'll take his place. Now back and he is mad. Still though, he's gonna let it slide this time. I love how the window in this hallway is still broken from the initial part of the game. It's a nice touch. There's a bridge up here we haven't been to yet. Kammy Koopa shows up and remarks how they've got a secret weapon even if Mario manages to show up with all of the Star Spirits. She then notices the Clubba smells way too nice, and wouldn't you know it, it's just Peach in a disguise. And she gets dragged back to her room yet again. Back to Mario and we've rescued Skolar. He ups our star energy once again and gives us timeout. It's not great because it doesn't work on bosses, but it does freeze all enemies for a set time. This Toad here says he used to be content watching Minty tend to her garden, but he just can't take it anymore. He's gonna work up the courage to ask her out to Shooting Star Summit. Dude, go for it. If you never ask, the answer is guaranteed to be no. Going into Merlin's house, there's a Ninja there. He says he's from Starborn Valley in the Shiver region to the north. Merle is Merlin's son and he's looking for us. We've got to go there immediately. Checking in on those girls who bought the house, and apparently they have more money than they know what to do with? Is this just an investment property to them? They make no sense. Alright, let's get this over with. Koopa Koop reminisces about the adventures he went on with Goompa and Bootler, then says there's a package for him in Gusty Gulch. I went there and the Boo is like, oh, I wasn't expecting this so soon. I don't know where it is. How about you wait until I find it? Luckily, you just have to leave the screen and come back for it to register. I took my 1 coin and asked, hey, what's next? He wants a coconut because he hears it's very exotic. Thankfully, I have that shortcut pipe now. He's like, oh, I don't know how to open it. Oh, well, I guess I won't eat it. Then why did I go and get it? Ugh, I hate him so much. Now he wants a red jar from Dry Outpost. I have to buy a Dusty Hammer, dried pasta, Dusty Hammer, and dried shroom in that order. Way more complex than the one to meet Mr. Moustafa, but whatever. I brought it back and he complained it was too dusty. At least I got 3 star pieces. Alright, now to the sewer, except this time you have to go here to progress the story. With Lackluster, we can cross these spikes. Deep in this final segment was a chest containing the Ultra Boots. Not only did my jump get stronger, but now I can do a spin jump in the overworld to reach things higher than before. Our Metroidvania progression is complete. Kind of interesting that Luigi is on this block way up high. He usually can jump higher than Mario in game, so it makes sense. Through this blue door is a pipe that leads to an icy world. Of course, gotta get this upgrade block first. I just picked Lackluster. Doesn't matter too much at this point. And here we are, our final adventure before confronting Bowser. We're now in Shiver City, the land of the penguins. Many people here are talking about there being a suspicious individual in town lately. Maybe it's Bowser. I made my way over to the mayor's house and, he looks dead. He's holding a note that says Herringway on it. His wife walks in and freaks the heck out. She runs outside and brings some detective in to investigate. There's a rather lengthy dialogue here about how the mayor is definitely dead, and then the wife accuses Mario of doing it and says she saw it with her own eyes. She even yelled to not let him into the house. Never mind the fact that if you talk to her before going in the back room, she's like, oh, welcome, would you like some tea? Either way, the only way out of this is to find the real murderer ourselves. Otherwise, we must be guilty. The citizens all act different towards you after this event. This dude is like, hey buddy, I don't associate with murderers, get out of here. Then there's this guy calling me a murderer and is like, oh god, no, I'm gonna be next. Come on, how do they not know who Mario is? I went around telling everyone I think Herringway is the murderer. Apparently this is his house, but he hasn't been home for a while. Very curious. Well, I'm so angry these people are accusing me like this, I'm gonna break their lake. Take that. With that key, I went into the warehouse with steps leading to the roof. Why is that spring in here anyway? I slid down the roof and went directly into the chimney. Herringway is here and he's like, what the heck? Why are you in my fireplace? Apparently this is his secret room and he's just now discovering the mayor's dead and he's the chief murder suspect. Well, we'd better clear that up, shall we? Back to the mayor's house I go and the detective is like, oh, is that the famous mystery novel writer Herringway? I tell him the mayor was holding a piece of paper with that name written on it and he's like, what? No way, I would have totally noticed that. Oh, he is holding something. He comes to the brilliant conclusion that the mayor wrote his killer's name on the paper with his last breath. Of course, that's ridiculous because Herringway would come up with something way more clever. Plus, he's been writing his latest novel the entire time. And the wife chimes in and is like, just a reminder, I still think Mustache Man did it. Just then, the mayor's body starts twitching. He gets up and is like, oh god, my head hurts. His wife thinks he's a ghost, because of course she does. All that happened was he tried to get this gift for Herringway off a shelf and fell. Well, that whole thing was ridiculous. At least this whole debacle gave Herringway an idea for his latest novel. Now we're allowed to go to Starborn Valley. The wife is like, oh, I knew you were innocent the entire time. That stupid detective must read way too many mystery novels. Yeah, thanks. Finally, I can leave the city. Well, I didn't get far before stupid Junior Troopa showed up. He's complaining about the cold, so he's gonna beat me up in record time to get out of here. This time around, he's decided to learn some magic. Just gonna forget about all your earlier defenses? With these new boots, I'm dealing 10 damage per regular jump. Kinda insane. He has 1 defense, so it's lowered to 8. His magic does 8, but with my badge setup, I can reduce it to 4. Yeah, this one's super straightforward. Nothing special here. If you come back to the spot where he's knocked out, now he's just frozen there. well, he had a good run. Check out this weird tree. No idea what the heck's going on with that. We've got frost piranhas here who freeze you, along with these weird gulpit enemies. Really, if you haven't invested in the damage boosting badges at this point, you're just hurting yourself. Some of these things would take so long to kill without them. Past these guys was a scary looking ghost thing. It's like you better run if you know what's good for you. I mean, based on this attack animation, I probably should have been scared. Too bad it literally didn't do any damage though. This is mostly a meme fight. After winning, it's revealed to just be a bunch of little stars hiding under some disguise. Remember that gigantic letter chain about the fishing trip? Well, here's Frost T, the latest recipient. Of course, he wants one delivered too. This time to Goompapa. Oh wow, that's where this all started. Maybe it's finally over. Merle's house was at the top of the area and he had something very important to tell me. This is called Starborn Valley because stars are born here and they rise to Star Haven when they grow up. He says he had a vision of where the final star spirit is. It's in a place called Crystal Palace on top of Shiver Mountain. No one remembers how to get there though. He gives me a scarf that apparently no one knows how to use. Put it around your neck? This place is freezing. I went to the mayor with the news about Crystal Palace and was like, hey, is there any item that's been passed down in the city? Apparently it's just this bucket. Gee, thanks. Alright, time to end one of these major side quests. I brought the letter to Goompapa. Apparently Goombaria asked a question to Frostia and the answer's quite complex. Finally, instead of another letter, I get a Lucky Day badge instead. It's pretty solid, just an improved Pretty Lucky. Also decided to knock out another piece of optional content. You may have been wondering why I didn't talk about Anti-Guy during Chapter 4. Well, now I'm taking him on. He's guarding this chest and makes it very clear this is not a good idea. He has 50 HP and deals either 10 or 12 damage with his attacks. Basically, if you take this guy on during Chapter 4, you better know what you're doing. At this point with my badge setup, it's not too hard. Mechanically, he's just a normal Shy Guy. We've got some tougher battles to come still though, don't worry. What was in that chest? Why, a second Power Plus badge, of course. Cause we aren't strong enough already. It's too much BP to equip for now, but if I take off Speedy Spin and I Spy just before a boss, it's all good. Actually, let's fight one of those harder enemies right now. This is Kent C. Koopa. Remember him from the underground news board? He doesn't want to let me go to Koopa Village unless I give him 100 coins. Yeah, right, buddy. We're gonna fight instead. Again, he warns you, this is probably a bad idea in case you've never played this game. Hopefully you take the hint. So right away I realized this was a bit tougher than expected. I had that second Power Plus equipped, meaning my jump does 6 damage each hit. Doesn't matter. His defense is 6, so the best I can do is knock him over and deal 1 when he's flipped. Also, he flips himself back over on the same turn and gets an attack in. His basic stomp does 10, reduced to 6 with my badges. I was honestly a little worried at this point. My plan was to just spam charge with Goombario and hopefully delete him in one attack. Smooch was good at keeping my health up. For every 3 butt slams, I could fully heal, along with chipping his health down with Power Bounce and using Refresh to raise my FP back up. I was doing quite well. There was one problem, and that's his Shell Spin attack. It's one of those that stuns your teammate, and it's a bit hard to block. Can't charge Goombario if he's knocked out. Seriously, this guy's so annoying for that. I'm trying to charge up like 10 times in a row, come on. I had to dispense some items here. Repel Gel is one of the best in the game. It's the same as Bow's Out of Sight, but lasts multiple turns and keeps both party members free to attack. I also used some Shooting Stars to deal 6 true damage. 70 health sure is a lot. I even had to blow a Life Shroom. I mean, you've got to use them at some point, right? This fight is seriously no joke. Alright, with just 4 HP it was time. Goombario was super charged up at this point. Oh god, I overdid it by so much. He did so much damage, what the heck? I guess I miscounted. Kent C. Koopa is just like, well, I guess you're pretty strong if you can beat me, and then he runs off crying. Well, that was a fun little side quest. Back we go to the main storyline. I had to bring that scarf and bucket to these suspiciously lined up snowmen. One was missing a scarf and one missing a hat. They said I was so kind for helping them, and they wanted to show me their secret. Oh god, wait. Oh, you mean the path behind you. Whew. I thought this was some kind of snowman murder gang. Maybe I've been reading too many of those Herringway novels. I'm just kidding, I hate reading. Along the way up the mountain there was a typical setup with a switch far away. No problem, Cooper can handle this. There are 2 of them? Basically, it's the classic choose which one is the real one. You have to guess based on their dialogue which is real and which is fake. Well, the one on the right is obviously the fake. I love this. He's like, oh my god, I faked you, you idiot. Then Cooper gets mad at him for tricking Mario and they get in a fight. And then it just resets and you have to do it over again. Okay, for real though, they make it pretty obvious which is the real one. The fake one calls you moron instead of Mario for one thing. These are duplighosts. They either fly at you with an attack or transform themselves into a clone of your teammate. It feels kind of cool to beat Goombario up like this, I'm not gonna lie. Another upgrade block, guess we'll go Bombette this time. I'm mostly using Watt and Goombario at this point anyway. I found this cave where an apparition spoke to me. She says her name is Merlar, and she's an ancestor of Merlin. Oh, great. She gives the whole spiel about how the stars are in trouble, but she has an important story to tell me about Crystal Palace. Of course, we don't have time for the entire tale, so she'll make it brief. Well, she put Mario to sleep. Guess that talent runs in the family. Anyway, I get this star stone which should help me. And yeah, it immediately did. There was a slot for it outside and a gigantic staircase appeared out of the ice. Here we are, the entrance to Crystal Palace. Ugh, not more bats. Well, gives me an excuse to try out Fan Smack at least. That is so satisfying. Remember these switches that shift the entire palace up and down? Someone needs to call OSHA about that, cause like, what if you walked in there as it was moving? Well, they never let you go behind the mirror in Mario 64, but at least you get to do it in this place. I think that's a nice consolation prize. I think these duplighosts screwed up. They were pretending to be me and Bombette, but they were on the wrong side of the wall. This wasn't one of my finest moments. If the ghost changes into Watt, it obtains the electric state, and yeah, I died. At least I had a life stream in reserve. I blew up yet another wall, and oh, we've got another evil twin situation on our hands. More like evil quintuplets, I guess. Man, it was just way too hard to tell which was the real one in this children's video game. Sorry about that, Bombette. If you hit the real ones, you don't have to do this fight, but hey, free XP. Here's a part where you've got to kill these white clubbers to destroy the statues on the other side of the glass. Not sure how that makes sense, but it must be magic. There's a gray Magikoopa in this fight, and it can make enemies transparent. Really annoying, because you have to just wait it out. At least we can see what it would be like if Goombario decided to headbutt the ground. Sometimes the white clubbers do 3 hits in rapid succession. It's pretty fun to try to time all 3 of them with the action command. Oh, how nice. This segment gives you a tutorial in case you're stuck and don't know what to do here. Cooper gets stuck in the wall though, and yeah. Look, I'm just not quite sure which one of these is the real Cooper. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any way to tell. I love how if you hit Cooper here, he's like, what the heck? You did that on purpose, jerk. Dude, no one could have gotten that right. Come on, cut me a break. Well, I found yet another power-up badge, P up, D down. This one increases your power and decreases defense. I mean, it only costs 2 BP. Yeah, we're putting that one on too. Holy crap, my base jump attack does 14 damage. That is nuts. I always found this part to be a little strange. There's these scary Reznors standing here and you're like, oh shoot, time for a fight. But no, they just talk to you and they're like, hey, solve the puzzle. If you talk to them from a certain direction, they rotate the statues in the background and then you can push them onto the panels. Doing this reveals a staircase to the boss. This is kind of a weird place for a palace to have, don't you think? Here's the Crystal King. He's pretty scary, let me tell ya. Of course, gotta start the fight by wasting a turn tattling these crystal bits. Even though he has 2 defense, I can hit 16 with a single power bounce. My goodness. His main attack is to suck in the bits and spit them out. It's tough to time the action command for them because it's so fast. If he doesn't want to use those, he can also just heal himself for 20. That's kind of annoying. Honestly, don't know why I pulled Bow out here. She can't damage him. Other than the crystal bits, he can just blast lightning out of his mouth. That's a cool attack. It's not that hard to dodge though. Well, I didn't even get to show you the worst attack. He splits into 3 where only one of them is real. I'm honestly not sure why he didn't use it. Guess I got lucky. Anyway, this was it. We had now rescued the 7th and final Star Spirit. We get a rather short segment with Peach this time. Bowser comes into her room and makes an attempt at flirting with her. He's not that good at it though. Probably better than me either way. Cammy comes in to interrupt with some breaking news. Mario has rescued the final star spirit, which means there's a chance he could reach the castle. How are these people eating all the way up there anyway? Tasty ran out of ingredients in the kitchen at the start of the game, so like, it's been days, right? What are they eating? Bowser freaks out and has the guards tie Peach up to come with him to the top of the castle. Twink loses it and goes off. Bowser's like, huh? Is that confetti? And just blasts him into oblivion. Back to Mario now, and we've rescued the final star, Kalmar. He gives us the ability Up and Away, which turns enemies into stars. Again, not very useful because it doesn't work on bosses. What's up with this guy? He has no clue what's going on. He's rambling about collecting junk, then is like, wait, what? Bowser? What the heck is going on? This dude's been living under a rock. If you rest in the Toad house after Chapter 7, you get these presents on the floor. The Toad talks about snow was melted there, so maybe it was the snowmen guarding the mountain? Yep, it's that time again. But actually, it's not that time. Koopa Koot says he has one final favor, and that's to defeat Bowser. Well, good riddance to that side quest line. Won't miss him. Alright, here we go. A lot of you have probably been wondering, hey, what the heck? When's he doing the dojo? Well, right now. There's this little dojo in Toad Town, and people come here to fight. The master is an old man, but first you have to fight Chan the Buzzy Beetle. I believe this place opens up after Chapter 1, so we're a bit over-leveled for the start of it. Sorry, Chan. For winning, I got a first degree card. These don't really do anything, just a key item to show you one basically. There is this Toad outside the dojo who makes fun of you for not having any kind of card the entire game. Finally, I can show him I have the same one as him. The second fight is against Lee. Oh, I just realized that's a reference like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. Oh my god, I literally didn't know that until I was reading this back. Anyway, the second fight is against Lee, who would probably blow your mind if you hadn't waited till the end of the game to do this. He's one of those duplicos and turns into your teammate. I found it really interesting he decided to use Tattle on me. I didn't even know that was a thing. Just describes how you're determined to save Princess Peach. The Master himself is the third fight. He only attacks by walking up and punching you, although it does do 6 damage. With 50 HP, he can be pretty tough if you fight him immediately when he's available. Still, dealing 14 damage per jump is kinda busted. It was trivial to get the third degree card. Oh, and you don't get any XP for these fights, and they're safe if you happen to die. The fourth battle is at the Master again, but this time he does a KO Ken from Dragon Ball or something like that and gets way stronger. I mean, this power bounce is absolutely nuts. 27 damage in a single attack. Like, what do you do about that? His attacks are strong too, but he's not gonna have time to do many of them. Alright, the fifth and final fight. He goes full Super Saiyan this time. He's got 99 HP along with 1 defense, kinda crazy. Although, I think many people consider Kent C. Koopa to be the harder fight. He does like a full combo on you for his main attack. It hurts pretty bad. I think they were trying to make a battle that's hard even if you're at max level. Thankfully, he only did that crazy combo once. He still does the basic punch too. I was able to build up Goombario's charge like crazy as well as spamming power bounces to chip him down. It was admittedly a bit close, but I won first try. I received the diploma for winning. Maybe if they ever remake this game, they'll add a new 6th fight to the dojo. There's your free idea, Nintendo. Oh look, Bombette got a letter from that guy Bruce. I wonder what he said. Yeah, it's just like 4 screams of him spamming I love you, I love you, I love you. I think Bruce needs put on a watch list. Our final update on the girls who bought the house. Apparently, they plan to spend their fortune on a huge celebration when we defeat Bowser. Oh my goodness, the ending sequence. They funded the entire thing. I never knew that. Okay, it's time. With all the Star Spirits saved, they open the path to Star Road. It's kinda scary looking, but I'm sure it's safe. Going up is pretty fun, gotta admit. God, I just love the aesthetic of this pathway, like walking on magic itself. It's just so peaceful. Well, aside from the Ember enemies along the way, I wonder why this path has Bowser's minions on it anyway. At the end of the path is Star Haven. This is where all the stars rose up before Bowser took the Star Rod. There's even a Toad House here, although it's run by a star. Guess the name Toad House is just more of a brand. There's not really much here other than that and the item shop. The path to the right leads to Star Palace. All of the Star Spirits are here waiting for me. I guess they just chill here all day? They give me my final ability, Star Beam. With this, it counteracts the power of the Star Rod, the only way to defeat Bowser. They also bring me the Star Ship, which will allow me to travel through space safely to reach Bowser's castle. Shouldn't Mario be wearing a spacesuit for this? We fly into the castle through Bowser's mouth and await our final challenge. We've got Koopa Trolls now, although we already fought these dudes a while ago. Still kinda strong even now. Hammer Bros are here too, although they're kind of a joke at this point. Here is the first of 3 talking Bowser doors. They provide challenges to progress through the castle. The first one simply wants me to stand directly in front of him. Well, that's trivial. Shouldn't you ask for something? Oh crap. He tricked me, just like Don Corneo in Final Fantasy VII. Little did he know I've got a bomb that is experienced in breaking out of prison. It wouldn't be a Bowser castle without a lava platforming section now, would it? Although, with the limits of this game's physics engine, it's not that hard. Poor Lackluster. You can tell he's really uncomfortable carrying Mario over the lava, but come on, there's a badge here, and I really want it. Not a useful one. We have our endgame setup already. This part's cool, once again using Bow to phase through something while the ground moves you on its own. I find it interesting that you run into all these different colored Magikoopas throughout the game, with special abilities and all that, but then all the way in the final dungeon of the game is where you just find basic Magikoopa. It's a strange choice. It's a relatively tough battle considering it's only regular enemies. They were guarding a switch that stops the flow of lava to the entire castle, so maybe he should have put someone stronger. That stuff cooled down quite quickly. I feel like after an active lava flow, it would be dangerous for like weeks. This next area is just terrible. It's dark, whatever. We can bring Watt out to see where we're going. The problem is when you get into a battle, you can't tattle these enemies. This sucks. Yet another enemy I'll never see the HP bar of. It's so unsatisfying. That area is just a rather large cave that's dark. Nothing special other than those dry bones enemies. At the top, you're in an empty room where there's a statue you can move. On the other side is that dang Bowser door. It's shocked we made it out, but I guess there's nothing it can do. It's gotta let us pass. There's even an item shop in the castle, which is interesting. This Goomba's like, hey, I don't recognize you. Are you Mario? Nah, I'm just kidding, buddy. I know you're not. But he says he's bored and gives us some of Bowser's stock if we pay him. Dude, these Magikoopas cheat, I swear. There is no way it hit me there, come on. At least these dry bones things exist outside of that cave. That would have really bothered me. Now we're getting somewhere. I killed a Koopa Troll to get the key to this prison cell. It's a jank toad house. Well, a bed is a bed, I guess. I feel like this blue carpet area is just iconic for some reason. It's an area that really stands out in my mind from this castle. Alright, next we have to pull a chain to flood this section. The plumbing system here is just top notch. How does Bowser keep the rest of the castle dry when this happens regularly? Not to mention how it can be drained just as well. He should team up with Mario and Luigi for a side hustle. Here's a callback to Chapter 1. We've got another bullet bill hallway, but this time it's bombshell bullet bills. They're just stronger in general, nothing different otherwise. Okay, now we've got actual dry bones. These are really strange. When you kill them, they go down, and after a few turns, they'll come back up. If you knock all of them down at once, the battle ends, but you get no XP. The only way to truly kill them is fire attacks. Here we go, the second Bowser door. This guy is not as much of a trickster as the last. Instead, he wants to ask me a series of trivia questions, but if I get 3 wrong, oh man, you don't want to get 3 wrong. The questions basically have a bunch of NPCs come out, then he asks you something about what you saw. How many Koopas were there? Well, I never was very good at counting, so 5? What? That was wrong? No way. Okay, actually I'm intentionally getting 3 wrong because, well, take a look at this. I had no idea this was here before this playthrough, but this is the hardest fight in the entire game. 3 anti-guys at once. Instead of doing the trivia, you can just fight these dudes instead. Okay, what the heck? Why do I have to tattle this guy again? I guess this is considered a different anti-guy in the game's code or something? I had to waste a turn switching to Goombario. Unbelievable. Even in the best case scenario where all 3 use their weakest attack and I guard against it, I still take 24 damage. That is so much. Good thing I've got a bunch of life shrooms on me. Well, it doesn't matter if you revive, then just get insta-killed again on the same turn. I blew it with Goombario's charged multi-bonk. Oh my god, I'm really gonna die. I got my first game over of the entire playthrough here. A respectable place for it to happen. You just go back to your last save block, which thankfully is right before this room. Okay, having Goombario out for turn 1 made a huge difference. Had to blow through 3 life shrooms, but we got out. The door can't believe it, but it has to let us through. I wonder if it knows those guys are even stronger than Bowser. This takes us to an outdoor area. No new enemies or anything, but it's cool how many environments they made for this final castle. It truly is the final gauntlet, and it closes up the game well. Down in the dungeon of this area is yet another Toad house. Kind of need them with all the enemies you run into. They chip your health away a lot, so yeah, it's good to heal up. Oh man, this part made no sense to me as a kid. The torches along the wall here tell you which paths to take, either up or down in the coming rooms. I think it's an homage to the Mario Lost levels where you had to pick the correct paths in Bowser's castle. At least this game has the courtesy to tell you the correct one. Oh wow, Princess Peach is just chilling in this hallway. She says, oh yeah, I saw an opportunity to run from Bowser and took it. Well, that's convenient. Hey, what the heck? Is that a Duplighost? How could I have been so stupid? That's not Peach. Time to whack whoever this is with the hammer. Alright, here we are. The third and final Bowser door. It says it has way better defenses than those others and summons none other than the Koopa Bros. Hey, I thought they were in jail. They say they're way stronger than before and now call themselves the Super Ultra Mighty Koopa Bros the Great. Rolls right off the tongue. Next thing I knew, Junior Troopa sprinted into the room and just blasted them away. Well, I guess we're fighting him instead. He's got more health and damage than any other fight before. Also, he kind of transforms through his different phases throughout the fight. A nice homage to this guy's nonsense. Well, I had taken Spike's shield off to fit all these buff badges on, so what do I do here? I just spammed focus with Mario and attacked with Watt. Nothing else I can do, really. He blew it though. Back to that magic form. Yeah, now I can jump on you, idiot. Junior Troopa was finally finished. The door is confused. It's like, well, you beat the guy who beat the Koopa Bros. Does that mean I gotta let you pass? Yeah, you do gotta let me, buddy. Finally, after so long, I'd arrived at the entrance to Peach's castle. The journey is almost over. Hey, at least I can finally rescue that one Toad hiding in the wardrobe. He provides a Toad house too. Other than this guy, the place is entirely deserted. In the hallway where this all began, Bowser appears in a clown car with Peach tied up hanging from a rope. In another callback, we fight him in this exact same spot. This time though, I'm way stronger. He was getting owned, so he went back to the old reliable, the Star Rod. Too bad now I've got the Star Beam. That's not gonna work anymore, dude. It's not that hard of a fight, all in all. He gets in the clown car and taunts us that if we want to save her, we gotta follow him up to the top. At the top of this staircase is our final battle. But I've got a few things to take care of first. I'm sure Peach will be fine until then, right? Holy crap, it takes way too long to get from here back to the ground. In the randomizer, they added a quality of life warp pipe back down. In the vanilla game, well, you've got to walk all the way through the castle again. We're 100%ing this one, so it's what we gotta do. First up is get to the max level. I was only 2 away at this point anyway. Easiest way is farming Amazy Daisies and Flower Fields. From now on, nothing will give me XP, and I can insta-kill enemies by bonking into them in the overworld. There's not a great way to define 100% in this game, but a good way to do it is looking at the stat board in Mario's house. Getting all badges, all star pieces, and even all taste tea recipes is a good metric. I try not to use guides for these English releases, but that's just for beating the game. If I want to do additional content like this, a guide is just efficient to use. I'll start by going in and out of these pipes in the sewer to force spawn Chuck Quizmo for all the quizzes. He has 64 questions in total, so it takes ages. It took around an hour of grinding, honestly not terrible. The final question asks how many star spirits I've saved. Pretty easy if you ask me. When finished, he's like, wow, you answered all 64 questions. Never thought someone would have all the answers. He says he's peaked in life and he's content to retire as Quizmaster. Thank goodness. Most of the other star pieces I was missing were located in the panels on the ground. I'd picked most of these up along the way, so it was a bit annoying to figure out which ones I was missing. I tried my luck with the fortune telling. I mean, that's what it's there for after all. Something about Pleasant Path? Where the heck is that? This one's quite rude. The I Spy badge doesn't even go off here. What the heck? Okay, I was only missing 2 now, but the stupid fortune teller says there are none I can get at this point? What? Apparently, she only tells you about ones directly in the overworld, not from NPCs. One was a letter I never got in Dry Desert. The other was also a letter. No idea how I'd missed that. It sort of blends in with the flowers, I guess. And with that, I'd finally gotten every star piece. I traded them in for all the badges at Merlovely's shop, and that was it. I had nearly every badge already at this point, but there were a few that slipped past me. Like this one all the way in the back of the Dry ruins above the chest where the super hammer is. Completely forgot that was there. Now I'd gotten all the star pieces and badges, all that was left was Tasty's recipes. Something I'd literally never looked into. I figured it might be fun to try it out for the first time, you know? Basically, it involves going all over the game to find specific ingredients to make all 50 recipes. For example, a goom nut and cake mix creates a big cookie. How do you know the recipes? Well, I think there is no way to know. I guess you're just supposed to try things and see what happens? Or purchase the official strategy guide. Some of these could be missable, it seems. The deluxe feast requires a whackus bump and a strange leaf, an item I didn't even know existed. It's in a bush outside the Boo Mansion. But yeah, if you ate all your whackas bumps, then I guess too bad? Start the game over. There's some pretty weird stuff here. An iced potato and fire flower makes french fries. Why are there fries in this game? Or this item that I've definitely never seen in my life. First, you have to take a melon and a lime to make an item called Special Shake. Already didn't know about that. But then you take the Special Shake and a stinky herb to create the Healthy Juice, which restores 40 FP. It's such a strange minigame. This one actually makes no sense. Jam and jelly mixed with cake mix to make jelly pop. Jam and jelly restores 50 FP, the max you can have. Well, this thing restores 64. What happens with the extra 14? I don't know. The worst part of this whole minigame? If you give her something that doesn't work correctly, you get a mistake. Sure, it's one of the 50 recipes, but with missable things like wacka bumps or super rare ones like ultra shrooms and jam and jellies, it kinda sucks. What sucked even more is I thought I had all of them done, but it said 48 out of 50. There's literally no way to know what you're missing, so yeah, I was in trouble. Okay, I missed a melon and cake mix to create Yoshi's cookie. Nice little reference there. The last one, wildly enough, was just basic cake. I forgot I never made it because you're given it for the Gourmet Guy questline. With that, I'd finished all there was on this stats board in the home. What is your reward for all the recipes? Well, it's literally nothing. She doesn't even have text like, oh, you got all the recipes, thank you, or something like that. A huge letdown, it's not worth doing, honestly. Okay, I swear we're almost done. There's one other thing I haven't shown off that many of you are probably thinking I'm going to skip over. That's right, Paper Mario has a gotcha system in it. The Lil Oinks. You pay 10 coins, turn the crank, and out comes a random egg. These things are a bit useful in that the silver and gold ones give you jam and jelly and ultra shrooms. It's the only way to farm them. This is a really weird thing, and we all just kind of accept that it's here. I never really did this as a kid. I had missed 2 super blocks as well. One was in the sewer, just never went in this room. The other was in this sneaky little room. This one's pretty clever, I must admit. Okay, and with that, I believe we've satisfied 100% completion in this game. At least what I'd consider it. The only thing left is to confront Bowser one last time. After going all the way back through Bowser's castle once again, I'd arrived. He made a special little arena since we've been his rival for so long. He slams a switch and the bridge leading here collapses. There's no way out now. Not only that, but this arena contains a spell from Kammy Koopa to make Bowser even stronger. He gets zapped by lightning, causing him to grow in size as well as have a blue aura. Is that like Ultra Instinct or whatever? I don't know. I haven't watched Dragon Ball Z since Cell. This is a really sick final boss in my opinion. He has 99 HP and 2 defense. Sure, it's not quite as hard as some of the optional stuff, but it's certainly a tough fight. He uses the Star Rod to turn invincible, so naturally I counter with Star Beam. However, it didn't work. That's not good. Peach is over there freaking out that Mario's screwed, and Kammy tells her to shut up. That's when Twink swoops in to save the day. Thus begins a strange battle where we're in control of Twink fighting Kammy. At first, Twink can't deal any damage. Peach focuses her wishes on Twink, powering him up each turn. Kammy will summon those blocks to blast us with, which slowly get weaker over time. Eventually, the block attack does no damage at all. I beat her up and she was out cold. In a stunning turn of events, Peach's wishes were strong enough to give the Star Spirits the energy to make the Star Beam even stronger. Now it's called Peach Beam. With this, we can counter the Star Rod even in this buffed form. As for Bowser's attacks, he's got a basic butt slam, a claw that poisons you if you don't guard it, and he will heal himself for 30 when he's on low health. Oh yeah, can't forget the Fire Breath. This is like TAS only to guard against, I swear. Wow, I forgot about this lightning attack until literally right now as I'm writing this line of text. Yeah, that's there too. The worst by far is the one that hits both party members. Ugh, I hate the ones that stun the teammates so much. The worst part of all is it undoes all the charging I had built up with Goombario. Even at max level, this one can be hard. However, it was no match for me. Bowser's on the ground moaning about how he just never can beat Mario. Blame Miyamoto for that one. We need a Bowser's Adventure game. After a 28-hour adventure, we had finally reclaimed the Star Rod from Bowser. What a journey. Apparently, this platform wasn't built to withstand the battle, and it started to explode. Bowser and Cammy go flying off into the abyss. In fact, all of Bowser's castle is exploding. The Star Spirits use their power to safely lower us along with Peach's castle back to the ground. Mario returns the Star Rod to its rightful owner, and all the Star Spirits give us thanks and all that. And then the Star Spirits all return to Star Haven to live happily ever after. To wrap things up, we see Parakarry delivering a letter to Goombario. It's from Princess Peach, and she's inviting him to a party at the castle. In fact, he's giving letters to everybody. Bombette is in Koopa Village. Oh god, she didn't get with Bruce, did she? Bow is still at the mansion with her old bootler. Watt went back to Shy Guy's toy box. Not sure where she's from anyway. Sushi is with all the Yoshi kids in the jungle. I guess they're more comfortable there now. Lakalester in Flower Fields with his girl Lakalulu, as expected. And finally, Cooper is surprisingly with Colorado on an expedition to find the Crystal Palace. Well, I could have told you where that is. He's conflicted on if he should go to the party or continue the expedition, and Colorado insists he must go. After that, Parakarry delivers a message from Colorado's wife. Don't bother coming back, you buffoon. What a no-good husband. Oh, thank goodness, she left him. He sprints back to Koopa Village to try to fix things. We're back in control of Mario walking back to the castle. There's some new people here, like Chuck Quizmo. He's like, hey, quiz time. Nah, just kidding. Well, looks like Colorado's wife forgave him. He'll never learn. The badge shop owner says he made bank selling badges here, so it's time to head out for some other town. Seriously, what happened with his wife? Koopa Koot's here too. He's lost and can't find the castle. Well, don't ask me to help you. This penguin talks about how Herringway finished his latest novel and even has a great title for it. He's calling it Paper Mario. Oh my god, they said the thing! That's the thing from the game! I entered the castle and Peach made her grand entrance. She just gives a speech about how Mario and everyone worked so hard to return the Star Rod, blah blah blah. And it's time to enjoy the festivities. Thus begins the game's credits sequence. It's actually pretty interesting. Luigi is leading a parade of all things. Remember those girls who bought the house? Well, they funded this entire thing. That was a pretty neat little thing to learn in this playthrough. All the bosses we fought show up in the parade too. Guess they turned good or something? Why are they allowed to be here? Junior Troopa's having a magic battle with Cammy Koopa. Well, if she's here, then I guess this parade is anything goes. It ends with Mario and Peach staring at the fireworks show while the end is displayed on screen. This is one of those soft lock endings, so you'd have to reset your console to leave it. But yeah, that's about all there is for this one. Game complete. So yeah, there you have it. My journey to beating Paper Mario. My oh my. What a fantastic video game. I first played this when it was brand new and rediscovered it in college when I didn't have any of my video game consoles and looked into an emulator on my laptop. It was really cool back then and it holds up well today. There's a lot of game to get through here and you certainly got your money's worth for it. All the worlds are themed way differently and there's a lot of variation in the boss fights and even some of the regular enemies. The badge system allows for tons of customization in how you play the game. There's certainly enough optional content to satisfy the true completionists too if you aren't content with just beating the game in general. There's even an active randomizer scene for this game nowadays if you've done all there is to offer and just want some more. It looks great graphically and it certainly aged well. The music's awesome too. I think you all see where this is going. This is my favorite N64 game out of all the ones we've played so far. I gave Paper Mario a 10 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 2.5 out of 10 for difficulty. Maybe it would be harder if I'd never played it before? Alright, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. We had a randomized marble race to determine which game was next, so here's how that played out. Or skip to the timestamp on screen to skip straight to the game selection. That was a weak R roll. A random track. 198 games left on the list. Everybody's here. Oh, we haven't been on this one yet. Ready to Rumble Boxing. Xena Warrior Princess. Even. South Park, Chef's Love Shack. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. We are slowly off. And I see Super Smash Bros. Currently a light early game favorite. Worms, Armageddon, NBA in the Zone. And Super Smash Bros. Struggling a bit. I don't know what's going on here, but Super Smash Bros. Throwing away the early lead. What happened there, folks? Worms Armageddon dominating currently. And Worms Armageddon, NBA in the Zone, ST Hiryu no Ken Densetsu as well. I think that's actually a treasure title. NBA in the Zone gets launched forward and actually did stick the landing. Dual Heroes as well. Dual Heroes lands. Custom Robo V2. Zelda is off the cliff. Oh my god, I don't know what's happening. Dual Heroes, I think, has an extreme lead right now. Dual Heroes currently way ahead of everybody else. And still nothing. Dual Heroes just annihilating the competition currently. Landed that shortcut and nobody else landed it. Dual Heroes. It's going to be hard for anything to beat this. Mahjong is off the cliff as Dual Heroes is in the lead, coming through a dangerous section here. Does not get launched up, and that's it, folks. An extreme domination. Dual Heroes is the oh my goodness. Dual Heroes is the next game. Alright, Dual Heroes. It has been decided. But yeah, if you're still here watching, you're awesome. Thank you so much. If you had a good time, consider hitting that like button, or maybe even dropping a subscription. Or hey, maybe even watch another one of these videos that's on screen now. And yeah, see you next time.